was the Heisman Trophy winner in 1986. He left her off the ballot. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
The Warriors made a huge mistake in bringing Draymond Green back to the team. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. The Warriors did win last night because of Steph Curry. Stop me if you've heard that one before, Perloff. It was Curry who had to put the team on his back yet again, like the superstar he is. And Draymond did not help the cause because he got ejected 4 minutes into this game of the Warriors clinging to their faint playoff hopes. They're on the second night of a back-to-back on the road on the East Coast. And Draymond, because he can't control himself, gets ejected and hurts the team.
Yeah, but this is the Warriors' deal. That's how they run things there. That's how they've been doing it. That exact formula led them to 4 titles. Why would you change now, Maggie?
Well, because that exact formula is not giving you the juice that it once did. And your team is no longer that dominant force in the NBA. You are no longer the juggernaut. You want to know what you are? You're just like everyone else. You've got Steph Curry, who's an ultimate player. You've got Steve Kerr, who's a great coach. Clay, we'll see what happens. But you're just like everyone else now. You're not that super special team anymore. So for Draymond to make this about himself again, and I don't want to hear, oh, they won the game. Nonsense. They won the game because of Curry. Draymond hurts the team with these kinds of things because it forces Curry to have to take on so much more of the load than he already does. Just because he bails you out doesn't mean you were right to put him in that spot.
Well, I just think that you can't change the formula now. You take Draymond off this team, he's the heart and soul of the team. It's like Jason Kelce with the Eagles. Jason Kelce might not be the best player, but if you don't have your center in there mixing it up, then who are you? So you can't all of a sudden change the identity of this team. How many times have you dealt with Draymond not being available? Tons and tons and tons of time. You've had sustained success over the years. So to not re-sign him back then and to just start over, I mean, you might as well just kill the whole run. Just get rid of everybody. Okay. If you're going to not have Draymond, then you're not the Warriors anymore.
Well, you might be on the verge of getting rid of everybody. We talked about that yesterday. We talked about how the Warriors could be at a crossroads here where they might need a reset and they might need to put a different type of team around Steph if they're really serious about winning more titles. And I would say the flip side, maybe you're not just fighting for your playoff life if you had replaced Draymond with somebody else. Like, why do we automatically assume that it would have been worse if they had let him go to the Detroit Pistons or wherever else? You may have actually reinvented yourself in a way that would have been more fair for Steph Curry. Now, Draymond's like a drug for Steph Curry. He can't quit Draymond. There's something about that hold, but to be honest, not all the time. Your superstar shouldn't be your general manager all the time. So as much as I respect and I revere Steph Curry, sometimes you can't let the superstar make the decision about whether one of his friends can come back and play on the team. What's best for the Warriors? Yeah. Draymond is not best for the Warriors anymore.
Well, let me ask you a question then. Over the last 10 years, has he been best for the Warriors?
What about lately?
What's the difference? It's the same thing as he's always been.
Because everybody's aging, Perloff, and the margin for error is so much smaller for the Warriors because, again, they're not this super special juggernaut anymore. They're another team fighting for the play-in.
Right. If you take Draymond off this team, then there's no reason. They have no chance. Honestly, like, he is the special sauce here. He always has been. He plays that role. Every championship team needs this guy. Right, you need Dennis Rodman. You need Vernon Mad Max Maxwell. You need somebody who's a little crazy on your team. You need Dylan Brooks, who hasn't won a title yet. But you need a guy like that. There's a huge value to that. And Draymond is the ultimate guy like that because not only is he an irritant, he's also a great ball player. He's a great defensive player and a great passer. If you don't have Draymond, there's no reason to even try this thing. And honestly, running it back next year without Draymond, then they're really just another team. Now, I don't think Draymond's been the big problem there. There's been all sorts of problems this year with the Warriors, and I don't think you can look at the way that where they are now and say, oh, this is all because of Draymond.
Draymond Green got ejected last night, 4 minutes into the game. Stop me if you've heard that before. This is the 4th time he's been ejected this year, and he hasn't even played a full season because he had to take 12 games off because he had to go seek counseling because he couldn't get his emotions under control. And it's funny you bring up other irritants, like a Dennis Rodman is a famous one, and he obviously is in the Hall of Fame, as Draymond will be. Those players wear out their welcome. And those players move around because at some point the team says it's not worth it to have this person because they're actually hurting us. the Warriors have stood behind Draymond for long enough. And in my opinion, for too long. Because we have sat here as sports fans and we've watched this same nonsense over and over again.
Right, and been a lot of rings along that way.
And what's your outlook for the Warriors this year?
Same with or without Draymond. Honestly, they got old. That's not Draymond's fault.
They could be younger if they didn't re-sign Draymond's old. He is the type of person where you had to ask yourself, who's the most important person to the franchise?
Well, Steph.
Obviously.
Right.
So are you doing everything you can to make sure that Steph Curry has a shot at as many titles as possible?
So you're saying getting rid of his enforcer and the best passer on the team is going to help Steph be a better player?
I'm saying getting rid of a guy who consistently puts your best player in a bad position because of his selfish antics, like last night getting ejected in a game in Orlando. When you're on the second night of a back-to-back, Steph Curry has a tweaked ankle, and now you're forcing Steph to play hero again. That's not a good teammate. We dress it up like it's a good teammate. It's the enforcer. It's not hockey. Steph Curry doesn't need someone else to fight his battles.
Oh, yes, he does.
Well, now that he's fighting the battle against his own teammate. Because Steph Curry last night looked like he was about to break down into a puddle of tears or something.
When you say now, what is different now than 2015, 2018, 2021. This is the same formula that they've always had. I don't know why Steph is losing now. I think he's getting older and emotional. That happens. But
menopausal.
If you think that Steph's a better player without Draymond Green there, I just don't understand it. First of all, what are you going to bring in a young, talented player who's going to take shots away from Steph? Steph doesn't want that. He'd much rather have Draymond there. He's all about this Draymond thing. Yes, he's frustrated with the technicals, but he's always been frustrated with the technicals. That's been going on forever. I don't understand what's different now.
That's waving the white flag on Steph Curry's career.
No, I mean, honestly, they're going to bring it back next year, maybe tweak a couple things. He definitely wants Draymond there next year. Because assuming that the Warriors, do run it back, I think he loves having Draymond there. Draymond, first of all, is not going to take any shots away from him. He's really, really good at what he does. If you take Draymond off that team, you might as well just get rid of everybody.
Well, they might be. I mean, you might be at that crossroads where if you don't make the playoffs, you might be looking at full reset anyway. And again, you're telling me that there's only one person in this whole world of playing basketball who can help Steph Curry in this way? I get that Draymond is unique, but let's not make it out to be like Steph Curry, one of the all-time great players, and when this is all said and done, could be a top 5 player of all time. Please don't tell me that Draymond Green is the only person who could ever help him. And I know you guys are the Jordan, obviously the Michael Jordan love we get. You and I talk about it all the time. You think he could have won without Scottie Pippen. You don't
Well, yeah, it's Michael Jordan.
Okay, well, it's Steph Curry, who's going to be in the conversation for a lot of people of a top 5 player. You don't have to keep that one running mate with him there all the time in order for him to be successful. Reinvent yourself. Try to get the maximum out of Curry. And Draymond is just... He hurts the team. I don't know how you could paint it. You could put lipstick on this pig any way you want. Him getting ejected last night hurt the team. No,
well, actually, ironically, it didn't really hurt the team last night tremendously. I mean, they won that game.
Okay, let's see how Curry continues to play now with a few games left, fighting for your life, and now Curry has to take on so much more of the load because Draymond's out.
I just feel like there's a certain point with the Warriors' journey where Draymond screwed them in the Cavs final, but he couldn't stop kicking guys. They could have gotten rid of him then, but they said they made a calculated decision. We need Draymond to maximize where this team can go. They made that decision in 2016, and they turned out to be right. Nothing has changed about what Draymond can do for this team. He's still the same exact guy. I know he went to counseling. He's still the same angry, incredibly rational after the game interview guy. He's an anomaly. He's Draymond Green. You take him off this team and you are not the Warriors. And honestly, Steph Curry, it's way different than Jordan. Jordan definitely could have won with any cast of characters. I think Steph Curry needed Draymond Green.
We're almost a decade after that 2016 title. And we're approaching a decade after it.
Right. So you don't think they could have won 2 years ago without Draymond?
Yes. You can't get away with the same things you did 10 years ago when you were in the midst of your dynasty.
He didn't get away with anything. He got kicked out all the time 10 years ago.
You shouldn't be able to because you're all not the same. nearly 10 years later. You're older, your margin for error is smaller. And again, we're talking about Draymond Green got ejected for 2 technicals last night, arguing with a referee. You want to know what's totally avoidable? Getting ejected from a game for arguing for a referee. This isn't a dirty play that was questionable or something like that. Instead, he just couldn't let it go. And I saw the Warriors broadcasts, and they're saying, oh, the referee should have walked away. Or Draymond can walk away. You have to know your reputation at this point. Rasheed Wallace knew his reputation. You have to understand. Obviously, Dennis Rodman knew his reputation. At some point, you have to understand who you are. It is not always on the referee to walk away. When you're Draymond Green, you get no benefit of the doubt. So how are we going to say, oh my gosh, it's the referee's fault? Get out of here with that. Again, it's more excuse making, and it is not holding Draymond accountable for his actions.
Dude's 34 years old. You can't change him now, Maggie. That might have been relevant, everything you're saying in 2016. In 2024, that argument that Draymond's going to change, that is not relevant anymore because that is not happening. And by the way, they probably got better calls after Draymond got ejected, helped them win the game in a bizarre way. The NBA officials are an absolute and utter joke. That's a starting point here. They're pathetic.
Oh, I'll agree with you about calls and missed calls and all of that. But
there might be some benefit to Draymond being unhinged. I'm just saying the Warriors definitely need they need a lightning bolt. They need something to wake them up this year. So honestly, Draymond being well behaved the rest of the year, I don't know that does anything for them either. I think Draymond being a little erratic actually might wake this team up because they need something. They're in a really desperate spot right now.
I love it. I love it. First of all, that gives no credit to people like Steph Curry, people like Klay Thompson, people like Steve Kerr, that they need Draymond to get ejected in order to fire them up. That is so weak.
Maybe not to fire them up, but whatever the Warriors need to really play at their best. I mean, they've had this guy who's been doing this for a decade, and it has just worked.
Well,
and
is all it working, Perloff? They're barely in the play-in. It's not working anymore.
But not because of Draymond. Draymond, to say that the whole reason they're struggling now is because of Draymond, who's silly.
It all matters because it's a pattern of behavior, and now it's caught up to the team because they've gotten older.
So what do you expect them to do?
I think they made a mistake re-signing him in the first place. And listen, here's the thing. If the Warriors don't make the playoffs, you can expect a reset anyway. So you're going to change the characters on the team and the cast of characters on the team. You should have done it before if you really wanted the longevity. If you really were light years ahead of every other franchise, which you claim to be, then you would have made this change. And that's the other thing. Like, this is why I can't say, oh, Draymond, we spin this like he's some kind of hero. And he's the one who's playing 3D chess here because when he gets kicked out, then it fires up the team. You want to know what this sounds like? This sounds like in the NCAA tournament, the coach from Long Beach who got fired right before the conference tournament, and they go on to win the conference tournament, and they made the NCAA tournament, and then the athletic director came out and said, oh, I did it on purpose. I fired the coach on purpose just so they would get fired up. And we dunked on that dude for a week. That's what it sounds like. Oh, Draymond, like if you're giving no credit to Steph Curry and his competitiveness and his greatness, if you think that Draymond getting ejected is the reason that the Warriors won against the Magic last night.
I just think Draymond being a wild man has really helped this team over the years. Absolutely. I mean, if Draymond was just
titles,
was he just a normal guy? Oh my God, he would be long gone because he's not even that skilled. By the way, I don't necessarily think the Warriors have to do any radical things next year. They have a lot of good young players. So if you can hang on with the old guys and hope those young guys take a next step up, they're back next year because all of a sudden a lot of young players are contributing there that they didn't even expect. So I think Draymond is part of this team, part of the fabric of this team. If you rip that thread out, then you're no longer the Warriors and you might as well just move on.
I think the poll question today, should the Warriors have moved on from Draymond Green? 855-212-4CBS. I say yes. Perloff says no. 855-212-4227. We get it started with the Warriors today, and you are welcome to participate in this show. Again, 855-212-4CBS. Coming up, new details about the Shohei Ohtani ever-evolving gambling scandal, and this one, I think even Perloff is feeling seeds of doubt after the new information from yesterday.
No, he's fine. Him and Draymond are fine.
Man, I love having you as a friend. It's awesome. Any bad behavior, Perloff's like, I got your back.
As long as you don't
Good
get
person
caught,
to have
as
in your
long as you
life.
don't get caught, it's not bad behavior, Maggie.
Message for the kids out there. 855-212-4CBS. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Big night. Back to the NCAA tournament. 4 games. So last week we did a contest where whoever won the first part of the first round got to be king for a day, who had the highest score in our Maggie and Perloff show bracket. And that was me. And it was glorious. And I loved it. King for a day. Made everybody sing. I did not have to sing. You, the audience, are lucky about that. Although everyone was almost as bad as me. So what are we doing tonight, Maggie? What do you think? We have 4 games, and I want to have a king for a day tomorrow.
Well, I mean, I guess you're kind of king for the week. So if we do king for a day tomorrow, I think we just have to do whoever on the show finishes highest in the Maggie and Perloff Pearl Jam Season 3 bracket, lovingly hosted by our friend Nick in Texas.
Right, and I would love that because I'm 6 out overall right now. But I, like a moron, said, Michigan State's going to knock off North Carolina. Not so much. And UConn is going to lose to Auburn in this round. So I'm the idiot who doesn't have UConn and North Carolina advancing. So I'm going to fall back. Who's second in the bracket right now?
So EJ would be the second. Now, again, there's like lots of people in this bracket. So I'm just doing the 5 of us who happen to be in this room right now. So EJ would be next. Then it's Pete. Then it's Bogusch. Then it's me.
And EJ, I assume everybody here has UConn advancing except for me. I'm the only one who trusted in Bruce Pearl. Never do that again.
Great job.
What a mistake.
So you have UConn. If you have UConn winning, you're going to be the king for a day.
Well, I'm not the only one, though.
Pete also has UConn.
Yeah.
Well,
Right. But you're ahead of him right now, so you probably pinned him.
well, how about you do this? How about you make it the cumulative score over this weekend?
And then you're king for a day on Monday?
Yeah, because it gives more of a chance to everybody.
I know.
But that involves math.
Well, we're just adding.
Yeah, I mean, careful.
I don't know if your performance in the first round should be disqualified. I feel like I don't know. I don't think it should be nothing.
Yeah, but you're going to win. That's why you feel
it's
this
not
way.
even that. It's like I feel like you shouldn't be like, we filled out these brackets. We filled out the brackets thinking of the whole landscape of the tournament, not one round.
But I hadn't seen half the teams in the tournament play, and now I know much more.
No, that's too bad.
And like you had been studying Drake.
I did. I did, and it screwed me because I picked them to go to the Sweet 16, and now they're out.
It's like a reseeding.
Yeah, I know. That's the frustrating thing about the NCAA tournament and brackets is you don't know anything about these teams, and then they lose a close game, and you're like, I should have seen that coming. I don't know if anybody else does that. I should have seen Clemson winning. I had
no way.
Unless Trevor Lawrence was under center, there's no way I should have seen Clemson winning. Yeah. So you fool yourself into thinking you should have known. But if you do a reseeding, isn't everybody, the games tonight, does anybody think that UConn is in any danger here against San Diego State? It feels like a very obvious set of picks tonight, which means who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, okay, well, maybe we'll keep thinking on this throughout the show. We love doing on-air production meetings around here, so we'll think about whether we're going to do King for a Day tomorrow or whether we do King for a Day on Monday.
Now, I missed all of this last week, so you guys only did this off of Thursday, right? So
who was leading after Thursday?
Right, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday last week has not been accounted for. And you want to just go off of tonight's. So I kind of like Pete's idea to see who has a better weekend, and then Monday, somebody's in charge.
And then King for a Day?
Yeah.
It gives a little more sample size.
A little bit more.
It's been such a funny tournament, though, because it's been such chalk.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's going to be a lot of differentiation between us, unless anyone has a dark horse going very far this weekend. If all the number 1 seeds win, we're going to have a 5-way tie.
Then we all win or we all lose?
Everyone gets a day.
Everyone gets a day. It's our lucky day.
No, but then there's punishment for. Then you also get punishment for 4 days, so we can't do that.
That's true.
Because then the person who's the king for a day will make everyone else do stupid stuff for.
We're gonna be sitting around looking at each other in June, like who's king for a day?
Yeah.
I would take a punishment for 4 days and have a king for a day. I think that's a good trade-off.
I feel like that's a psychological exam question. Would you take 4 days of punishment if it meant king for a day, or would you take nothing?
And king for a day is pretty limited. I mean, It's not like we're going to throw coins at your feet or give you massages or something
Wait
like
a minute
that.
now.
We have a robe in the back.
It's the HR department we got to think about.
Yeah, giving a foot massage to Pilates is not something I want to do.
I
I'm
think
not going to
that's-
recommend that to anyone.
I think that's not an NFL franchise taken away from one person. 855-212-4CBS, Jerry Richardson. We talked about Draymond
I was thinking
Green.
Rex Ryan. Were you thinking Rex Ryan?
Oh, sorry.
Honestly, yeah, I knew Jerry Richardson did that weird thing where he would hit women in the butt, but I didn't know he was getting foot
He has to
massages.
shave a woman's legs. Oh. And I think he...
Did he demand?
Which is hilarious from the woman's side of things because it's so utilitarian.
Did he also
Anyway.
demand foot massages? Because that is definitely odd. But I think if you win the contest here, Pete's not going to get fired for asking for a foot massage if he was king for a day.
I'm not going to ask for a foot massage.
I think king for a day, HR should give us
Just
all a
take a break.
pass.
It's like a
Yes.
purge. But the
Yeah,
law
it's a
enforcement just
yeah.
doesn't exist.
Everyone will give me cash. That'll be mine.
Man, this escalated quickly.
King for a day, you cannot be canceled for anything you say. We get to hear the real thoughts
think
of
that's
everybody
gonna-
in this
Going
room.
on that
It's gonna
road.
hold
That's
up.
definitely not going to happen.
That'd be a good show, though.
Bogusch is sweating.
No,
last
no,
show?
no. I'm gleeful. I would love an unfiltered. I mean, I've gotten mostly unfiltered Bilotti, but there is a level I think he keeps beside himself. If there was no holds barred, that'd be something.
Well, the question is, what category would you go to under this line of questioning?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Oh, I
to
got
be
a
honest,
couple.
like knowing about each other's political beliefs doesn't really do much. You got to know, like, what do you really think about this person?
Or
Someone that we all know.
Or what are the strange kinks that Pete has under the surface there?
See, I
I'm
don't
very
want that
uneventful.
info. I kind of want to know what Pete really thinks of Dave Marinick, you know?
How you doing, pal?
that one I actually know. I'll tell you in the break.
We all
Dave's
love
the best,
Marinick.
I know.
Yeah.
I said him because he's got the 100% approval rating in the office.
Oh, he has the Mr. Belding laugh.
He does. It's so good.
Mr.
855
He was the body of Kelly Kapowski. He weighs like 85 pounds now.
I hear it down
Get
the
him a
hall.
snack.
The cheerleader outfit is a little odd. We should talk to him about that.
Can I request Kelly Kapowski to come into the studio? That's my day.
Yeah, I got Tiffany Amber Thiessen on speed dial.
To give you a foot massage?
Just to be here. Just standing over there.
I'll work on that.
No.
Imagine the weirdest stuff she's gotten asked. Like, just can you come and stand here in the corner? Might actually be top five.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's a lot wrong.
Compared to other things that she's been asked, probably.
Probably. Yeah.
Now, you guys don't know this because this predates your time here, but Pete has had somewhat of a similar encounter. He had a Victoria's Secret model shave his head
That's right.
on the air.
Wow.
That's right.
Which one?
Sarah Sampaio, who is an up-and-coming model at that
we
point.
know her.
Now she's super famous, won't stop returning our phone calls, but she shaved Pete's head on the air.
That's right.
She was a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model.
Yes.
Perloff. We've met her before.
Yeah, and the bosses were standing right in front of me as this was happening.
It was
so
funny they put you in a
very
straight
awkward.
jacket so you couldn't touch her. Don't even need an errant, just like a Draymond Green flailing, and all of a sudden everyone's in big trouble.
No windmills there.
Yeah. Who was going through the lane? The girl from Holy Cross against Caitlin.
Oh, yeah. Nobody
Clark?
knows her name, but yeah.
Whatever. Can't have any of that. Draymond Green got ejected last night, 4
stunner.
minutes into the game. I know. This was his fourth ejection of the season, which is a career high, which is quite shocking considering he missed 14 games with an indefinite suspension and still has his career high for ejection.
I actually think that's a career low, probably. We're probably miscounting.
They did the math wrong.
Unbelievable.
I believe that Draymond should have never been re-signed by the Warriors. Perloff says he's the heart and soul of the team. You can't get rid of him. Stephanie is in Mobile, has a thought on it. Good morning, Stephanie.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just want to say, first off, I love your show. Thanks for getting me to work safely every morning because you guys keep me alert.
Oh.
But I like to say I agree with you, Maggie, 100%. That heart and beat soul thing, that's more for like high school. You need a cheerleader. These guys are professionals. They don't need his antics. I think at the end of the day, he's cost the team more than he's worth when you go back to the championship, kicking LeBron in the groin and all that crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I just think his self-worth, I think he's self-inflated. I think he thinks he's, more than he is. The offense he brings doesn't make up for all the missteps. So I'd like to see them move on from him altogether.
Hey, Stephanie, what's it like that week where the whole NFL comes to Mobile for the Senior Bowl? Is that fun, or do the locals hate it?
No, it's really good. They just moved it out to University of South Alabama. That stadium is pretty state of the art. But before that, they had that Lad People Stadium, which was in the middle of the neighborhood, and it was better there because more of the locals came, and it was it's right in the center of everything. Now that it's out at the University of South Alabama, there's traffic and everything. And
but do you ever see Jerry walking on the street? Do you see Jerry Jones at Eddie Boy or in a bar? Because I heard he owns that week and just goes to every bar and hangs out.
Well, you got the people who are going to run out there, and Alabama is a college crazy town, so he's a big deal. It's a big deal around here. Me personally, I'm from Detroit, so I don't really care about college sports as much.
Yeah. Well, Jerry, next
time, Stephanie, they might suck, but there's still 4 major teams.
When you see Jerry the next time, tell him that the show says hi. Thank you so much for listening to it.
Detroit kind of has University of Michigan. They just won a championship. That's a decent college town. No, I don't know.
Yeah, between Michigan State, but I believe
Detroit
Stephanie.
Mercy.
Yeah, Detroit. I don't think is a college town.
Obviously, Oakland.
Oh yeah, what about Oakland? We just figured out where they're near Detroit, and now Stephanie is agnostic on college football.
Okay, big mistake that I made.
Yes,
and I saw it, and I'm going to own up to it right now. However, I think I have a little bit of an excuse here.
I want to hear this.
So we're going through the Pearl Jam Season 3. That's our March Madness bracket. And we're deciding how we're going to figure out who's king for a day next, right? With who gets the most games correct out of our March Madness bracket. I said Perloff is 1, and I said EJ is 2. Andrew Kaplan is 2nd because he's tied for 15th, but he put his entry in as Drew Kaplan. So as I was scrolling through, I didn't recognize Drew Kaplan to Andrew Kaplan. We've never called him Drew around here.
I call him Drew all the time.
You call him Drew?
No.
I was going to say, Drew Kaplan could be any fan of the show. Andrew Kaplan is our ride or die.
But the question though is, I'm also 15th.
So you guys are tied.
So he's tied for 2nd. Now I guess
I'm sorry.
He has more available points for the overall tournament, so that's why his name's ahead of mine. But we still have the same amount of points.
Well, it could be he could go by Drew. You could go by your middle name, which is.
You'll never know.
EJ, so close.
So smart. You guys are so close.
You just pretend whoever's first in the bracket. Just pretend that's you because we don't know your middle name. Oh man,
Jay.
So Drew versus
Am
Jay.
I in the wrong that I didn't?
No.
When it was Drew Kaplan, it didn't click in my head. Andrew Kaplan.
You're not in the wrong. You did present that as a major headline that I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I felt like you sold that story a little farther, a little heavier than maybe was due. That Andrew Kaplan went by Drew Kaplan.
I want an apology for that, not the Drew Kaplan part.
Move over Shohei. The news cycle has been taken over.
Listen, I don't want anyone to feel like, be in their feelings about this.
By the way, Cap in the chat also says that he thought there was going to be breaking news there, Maggie.
Yeah. You set up. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Is somebody injured? And Andrew Kaplan went by Drew Kaplan. Scandal.
All right, let's get to the headlines.
As I learn the game more and more, if I'm king for the day, unlikely, but would I have the power to make EJ tell us his middle name?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You're king for a day.
No, but somebody else will. Good chance that not you will be.
EJ's the front runner for being king for a day. Now he's going to get Bogusch. Be nice to him. Because otherwise, he's going to get his vengeance.
I'm just asking.
Hopefully, he's a merciful overlord.
It is actually amazing that, and shout out to people in the YouTube chat and Twitch chat, that it's been 5 months, 6 months, no one can figure this out.
I think we'd be out of J names by now.
Well, I kind of thought in my mind, your first name is Elijah.
Yes.
We know that. Yeah. That EJ was just short, taking half of the E and the J from Elijah and making it EJ. So the middle name is
sometimes in my head, that's actually how I see it.
Yeah, that's because there's a J.
No, it's not. My parents gave me.
So your middle name does start with J?
Yes. And nobody can guess this, which is crazy.
No one's guessed Josiah?
It's a lie.
No, someone guessed Josiah, but that's not it.
John?
Nope.
You're giving us a nose.
Wait, you don't think that anyone guessed John?
Well, no. I've never guessed.
Middle name is that starts with a J that's been flummoxing everyone for 4 months?
Wait, we've been able to guess? There's been guess. Is not Joseph or John?
No.
He's saying no. We're eliminating all the
But
J
he's never
names.
said that no before. I've never gotten it.
Yes, I have.
Not to me.
If you guys said the right name, I would say it.
Right.
So it's an unusual name.
I don't think it is.
Is there anything tricky about it? Like,
No.
Jeffrey could be a G or
Nope.
a J, nothing like that?
This name has never been spelled without a J.
Your dad
With
is a
J.
huge college hoops fan. Is a Jimmer.
Nope. Jimmer was probably a little young for my dad to be like, you know what, that 3-year-old in Syracuse, New York, that I think is going to go to BYU.
Yeah, you're about the same age as Jimmer for
pretty
that.
good.
But
Yeah,
wait,
no,
Jimmer's real name is Jim, right? They just call him Jimmer. I don't even know.
It's like a hockey nickname. All right, let's get to the headlines. Bogusch is-
They are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save nearly $750 on average. Call or click today and find out if we could save you hundreds on your car insurance.
Crap is crap.
LeBron missed all the fun 2 nights ago in Milwaukee thanks to his left ankle issue, air quotes, so he had to make up for it last night in Memphis.
LeBron is open. Little flyby. LeBron dribble drive. Little windshield wiper one way, then the other. Do it, LBJ.
That's from Lakers TV. LBJ with 23 points, 14 rebounds, 12 assists in a 136-124 decision over the Grizzlies.
So you just went LBJ.
You know,
Oh, sorry, you went LBJ. So you took the B from LeBron's name. LB, like Elijah, EJ. Where'd you get the... Yeah, you can't do LBJ.
I mean, the guy did it. In
Oh,
the
he did?
call, yeah.
People call him that.
People call him that.
Right, so that means EJ could just be Elijah.
right, but
In
he
theory,
said it's not.
yes, but that's not what my parents had in mind when they
We're-
started calling me EJ when I
Fair.
was a baby.
We
Fair.
are guessing EJ's middle name.
But I thought it
LeBron's-
was a junior. I thought you were a junior.
A lot of people think that too.
Yeah.
I think it's a split
People
name.
actually, I'm sorry, I've never called LeBron LBJ. I have heard it, I guess, but it's kind of
I don't
funny.
lo- I don't
Lyndon
love
Baines
it.
Johnson and LeBron James are very different people.
Think.
Sorry, it just caught me.
LeBron could be vice president one day.
He
And
could
president,
be, but I think, yeah, but he has a very different style than our Lyndon Johnson.
thankfully.
Well, Lyndon Johnson he did pass the Civil Rights Act. He did some good things.
That's true. Tough Vietnam War look. Yes.
The Laker win streak is now 5. They're still 9th in the West, but just 2.5 games behind the Mavs for the 6th spot. The Suns in the 7th position right now after a 104-97 win in Denver. Kevin Durant, 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 blocks. In the East, the Knicks thumped the Raptors in Toronto, 145-101, while the Cavs were losing in Charlotte, 119-111. So New York jumps Cleveland for the 3 seed. Jets head coach Robert Saleh said recently his team had a quiet offseason, even though his QB might have flirted with being vice president. And now there's this, courtesy of NFL Network's Colleen Wolfe on the Around the NFL podcast.
From a very reliable source. At the owners' meetings, there was a very heated conversation between Woody and Robert Saleh, to the point where it was a little awkward.
Spicy.
What were they arguing about?
Where was this? Tell us more.
At the owners' meetings, at the
party?
At the party.
So I'm turned on, oddly. Why was that sexy? What's up? Tell me
Bogusch is
more.
going to have to excuse himself for a minute.
Jeez.
I feel like Perloff's elbow.
What was that music underneath that?
They did that. I guess, I don't know. Like, she decided to tell the story
From a
as a
bed?
vixen, and they played some softcore porn music underneath.
It was like noir crime
Yeah.
scene more than it was
Yeah,
porn.
they got into a fight. Oh, wow.
Now, as great as that sounds, Connor Hughes, who covers the Jets for SNY here in New York, says it did not happen at all. And he was there at this party, and he said he was kind of next to all of the Jets before they left for a team dinner. He saw nothing. He even has the menu from the dinner that they then went to: prime rib, seafood, fried cheesecake. So either there was a sexy Woody Johnson, Robert Saleh fight, or there was nothing at all.
But I don't understand. So Connie Fox was clearly there, right?
Colleen Wolfe.
Yeah, they call her Connie Fox on this podcast.
I was like,
Yeah,
We were all like,
they call
what?
her the Little Fox. She has all these nicknames.
Really?
Around the NFL is the best podcast. But wait, what? So she saw it? Though.
No, she said from a very reliable source.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
they-
she wasn't there because I heard
Hearsay.
NFL party. So she had a rumor. Oh wow, that's not very NFL Network to run with that.
Now that could have been at the dinner.
Nope. Connor Hughes also says nothing happened at the dinner.
I don't know.
No,
I
but
just
her
feel
story's
like
at the party. She says at the party there was an argument.
It just feels like Robert Saleh is so recognizable. How could somebody confuse him for someone else? Maybe Woody, maybe he looks kind of whatever. But if you see Robert Saleh get into a heated argument, you know it's him.
Well, especially in this room. It's
Right.
not like they were at a Dave & Buster's in Orlando.
Exactly.
They were at the owners' meetings. This is only football people in the room.
Right.
I believe Colleen Wolfe. I don't believe
I do
Connor
too.
Hughes.
Well, also,
And I love
the
Connor, by the way.
No, they're both great people, but the Jets have given you no reason to believe the story's false. They would only give you reasons to think this story's true.
Except for Connor Hughes. He's the witness.
But the
Colleen
thing is,
has a source. He
That's
goes,
true.
I was there the entire time they were there and nothing happened.
What if he went to the bathroom or something? Just Connor couldn't. Was he watching them like a hawk the entire time?
That's what he says. He says
like
he would have
eavesdropping?
noticed it if it happened.
Or was he
Yeah, I'm
dressed up
just
as a
picturing this
plant?
party, and these guys are all hanging out by the shrimp bar, and Connor Hughes is standing there staring at them the entire time.
Maybe.
What if
He's a
somebody
good
came up
reporter.
and said, "Hey, Connor, how was your vacation last week?" And he turned away for 1 minute.
You'd have to
Or
ask
what
him.
if they like turned a corner and went to a side room or a side corridor to say something, and someone peered and saw it? Like, I don't know. I don't deny that Connor saw nothing when he was there. I'm just, how could you, like Pearl said, how could he possibly be there for the whole time Robert Saleh and Woody Johnson were next to each other?
Connor could have been called outside to help someone with a flat tire. I mean, things happen. You know, like, you're not staring
Maybe
at the
I had
person
to go
the whole
ride
night.
ATV for a little bit.
Yeah.
That you got for Christmas. Who knows?
You got a
Right.
room with 30 buff NFL head coaches, but if
Nah,
you
not
need
30.
Sorry, 15.
Yeah.
But if you need a
15
tire
pushing it,
fixed,
too.
I'm going to go to Connor. Connor's
So
young man. But
the changing tire theory makes sense to you, but you've got no room for Ohtani yesterday being
No, he's
bamboozled
a
by his
crook.
buddy. Okay.
Crook, that's it. I'm done with the Ohtani stuff. Move on from that for me because it's driving me insane.
Well-
No. Look, if this wouldn't happen if you replaced Saleh anyway. But no, we can't replace Saleh with three of the best coaches ever sitting on the free agent market. Oh, what? No, we'll bring it back another year.
no, pass on
ridiculous.
Harbaugh, pass on Vrabel, pass on Bill Belichick.
Yeah, no. This will work.
Well,
This'll
is
work.
it possible that Colleen Wolfe, actually Pete Bellotti, who is bald like Robert Saleh, got into an argument with Woody Johnson? You
That could
would
happen.
go after him at a party for sure.
That could happen. Yes, that could happen.
I agree with Maggie. This is so believable as a story that I'm going to believe it. Of course, I love Connor's reporting as well. Of course, they got in a
I
fight
would
at some point.
stunned if it wasn't true. That's how much I believe Colleen's story.
On a side note, can Colleen should have a business where she just tells you bad news in that voice?
Oh, I'm in.
Colleen's fan club just grew by a couple.
Diehard Eagles fan.
A couple new really big diehard
You just
fans.
get like a message,
Yeah.
voicemail from Colleen Wolfe.
Right.
I just heard
That you have cancer.
that that was a little dark. I wasn't going that far. I was
my
going to say, I was going to say your car got repossessed or
I'm
something.
gonna say read my tax statement. But, go there.
Oh my God, Colleen
Wow.
Wolfe reads bad medical
That might be
updates.
Oh, come on.
You owe $2,000 to the IRS.
Every month for the next year.
Wow.
And you'd be like, yes, zippity doo. Because it's Colleen who told me.
Diggity damn, I'm out the door now.
Bogusch, you've been in that little room listening to sound for way too long
I
right
know,
now.
honestly.
That's
exhausted.
tittillating.
We gotta add
thing.
another window to that room.
Honestly, you should send
From
Colleen
a very
thank you
reliable
note.
source at the owners' meetings.
You're getting
There
fired.
was a very
Your email's been hacked, and we're going to need you to step outside.
Clean out your locker.
Someone just stole $4 million and gave it to an illegal bookmaker.
He says he's a Nigerian prince.
Honestly, maybe Shohei would have had a clue about all this earlier if Colleen had just delivered the news.
He needed that source that Colleen had.
Meanwhile, he's over there in South Korea like a patsy. We've got updates on the Shohei story. I know, Pete, you said you might be done with it. We're not done with it.
He's look. It's just obvious. It just seems to me like just dripping with. There's something missing here. There's something that's sitting there, and it's coming from Ohtani's camp, and they're hiding it. That's what I think.
Well, we've got more updates and more details
All
for
right.
you on that very story next. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is sponsored by the new Hyundai Tucson, available with complimentary class-leading Blue Link Plus. Now it's easy to use your phone to control your Tucson. All right, Maggie, what's the latest on the ongoing Shohei Ohtani, I'll say, scandal?
Yep.
fair to say. It's been a little quiet as far as from the Shohei camp. I haven't really, they haven't followed up on their statement yet. Season starts today. So exciting, but it's not exciting times for Shohei. What's the latest news?
Okay, so two things. One, you'll recall in Ohtani's press conference that he gave on Monday, where he said the first he learned about any kind of gambling debts with his interpreter or any kind of scandal was after the Dodgers won their first game in South Korea, and the interpreter addressed the team and said, I have a gambling problem and Ohtani's been covering my debts, right? That's the first time Ohtani said he heard the story. Well, the Los Angeles Times is reporting yesterday that the tip came in to their newspaper 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And that they reached out to different people in Ohtani's camp. So that would be his agent. They reached out to Major League Baseball because when something like this comes in, you're trying to get people to comment on the story. So the fact that Ohtani said that the first time he learned about this was in South Korea, I don't know. There was a whole week basically that went by, or at least 4 to 5 days, where this tip about Ohtani being linked to an illegal bookmaker, that his agents had this information, that Major League Baseball had this information, and nobody went to Ohtani and said anything to him?
Right, but you saw that video of him talking to Ippei, his translator, on the bench in the first game in South Korea. It didn't seem like Shohei was worried about anything or understood what was going on. It's possible that he didn't understand the scope of this.
Maybe. So that's one part of it. And then the other is the crisis PR agency that Ohtani is using, according to the LA Times, and also a well-known Hollywood lawyer who also has helped celebrities who have been caught up in scandal. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you and ask you, would you like to be associated with these people? Like, if this was your lawyer, would you think they're doing a good job or not a good job? This guy is Andrew Bretler, a West Hollywood lawyer who's represented convicted rapist Danny Masterson, Armie Hammer, and Prince Andrew. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'd retain this guy. I don't know about that. And the crisis PR firm has worked with Johnny Depp and Alec Baldwin and Harvey Weinstein. Whoa.
Well, Depp actually done really well. That one they aced.
Oh my gosh, Harvey Weinstein. I mean, maybe nobody was going to help Harvey Weinstein because he's such a despicable human being.
There was the fact that Prince Andrew is still walking around. They did an okay job with him.
I don't know. I guess this is the type of company you retain, but this makes, I don't know. This is the type of clients that this person also has, and they're bringing him in for Shohei. If Shohei's totally innocent of all this stuff, why do you need all this levels and layers of people who are dealing with the highest profile people who are dealing some of the biggest scandals in our society?
Well, because Shohei's name is on the wire transfer. So even if Shohei's completely innocent and is totally oblivious to what's going on, it's still a major crisis, obviously.
Sure, but if you are telling the truth.
Right, it's still crisis time.
Still a crisis,
because his name is on the wire transfer.
I'd argue that people around Shohei screwed this up so badly that they've made it worse for him. I don't know who at any point, the agents, Major League Baseball, the Dodgers, when has anyone helped Ohtani here? Who has made this better for him?
But what were they supposed to do?
Well, if he's actually telling the truth, then why all the spin?
Well, I feel like somebody gave him good advice about his statement that he read on camera. That worked out really well.
Whoever the spokesperson is for Ohtani, who let the translator do a 90-minute interview with ESPN when you have not vetted that the translator had no involvement in this, that person should be fired.
Right. Definitely. I agree with that. But then that's when everybody got on board. After that happened, everyone's like, oh, crap, we have a crisis here. Then they got the pros in, obviously. Because after that moment on, really, I don't think Shohei's had a misstep besides that, has he?
No, but again, this all comes down to, was it he left no gray area with any of this stuff. There's still holes to be poked in Ohtani's story. So I don't know if they have answered every question. Anyway, this is the latest stuff with Ohtani. We can get more into it in just a moment. But up next, an offer she can't refuse. We'll tell you what's on the table for CaitlinClark. We did not see this coming. We'll get that to you next. Maggie Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's destined to get knocked out by Jake Paul. She's destined to film it. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
CaitlinClark should take every opportunity in her path, including a reported $5 million being offered to her by Ice Cube's Big 3. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Yes, everything I just said is correct. $5 million for 10 total games. This is Ice Cube, the rapper, who has a 3-on-3 basketball league. He's had it for a while now. It's generally guys who are after, in their post-NBA career. They go around the country kind of barnstorming a little bit. They play each other in these tournaments. They've got coaches who are former coaches or former players. And now he wants to offer CaitlinClark this groundbreaking contract. Perloff, I say take it. If this is real, take the $5 million, Caitlin.
You don't need $5 million. Caitlin-Clark's brand is so big that this $5 million is not worth it. You're going to sit out there and you're going to go one-on-one with Cat Mobley and all these former NBA players. I just think it makes you look kind of lame because I don't think she's not a normal basketball player. She's going to be able to make millions in endorsements. I think eventually she's going to lift the boat in WNBA. She does not need the money. She's not going to need the money. And this is, I don't know. I like the Big 3. It's fine. But I think this waters her down who she is. She has this trajectory to be a real impact historical player in the WNBA. You got to take that seriously. Like if it was an NBA player or somebody, say it was a star in men's college basketball, you would never say this. So it almost feels like a sideshow.
Well, I actually love this for her because it's easy to say turn down the money when it's not you. I mean, $5 million is amazing. And to be fair to Ice Cube, he's brought in a lot of very high power and influential women to be a part of the Big 3. Our pal Amy Trask is part of the executive team. Nancy Lieberman is a part of this team, who is obviously a trailblazer. And Lisa Leslie is part of this. So you're associating yourself with really high class, high character people
who are retired.
Well, but you still would be out there playing. And by the way, I think she could play in the WNBA too. Like if you can also play in the WNBA, whose season might conflict, maybe you could do both. Why limit CaitlinClark just because it's an unconventional path to a payday?
Yeah, it just feels kind of, I don't know, like as I said, a sideshow. It doesn't feel like a serious move by a serious player who wants to be a game changer in the WNBA. To go, what she does, the Big 3, then I think it just feels like a bit of a circus. To me, it does anyway.
But here's the alternative, right? And this is an unfortunate part about women's hoops right now, which is CaitlinClark will be the number 1 overall pick for the Indiana Fever, and her starting salary will be $75,000.
Right.
And she can't even get to $100,000 just by her player salary. She can't get to $100,000 in less than 4 years. She can sign marketing deals and do all that, but this is a league, unfortunately, where the pay forces you in many ways to have a second job. That's why so many women go overseas and play in the offseason in places like Russia, which is not going to happen now after Brittany Griner, but in Turkey and in all these different places, they have to go make their money elsewhere and rearrange their lives for that. CaitlinClark would be able to stay home, stay in the United States, have a huge payday, and you're playing against like former NBA players. I know they're retired, but these are good people. Like you're not slumming it. These are recognizable former all-stars and stars.
But listen, she's got to be making at least $1 million off that State Farm commercial. That's on every single minute of the day. I think she can be a millionaire several times over, even with that salary. She is going to be the face of the WNBA. It just feels a little unserious to me. Feels almost like if you bring this into her resume, then all of a sudden the WNBA is not as big a deal. It waters down, like we get to see her elsewhere, then why is everybody going to tune in? And by the way, I am doubling down on that bet that we had that her ratings, if she makes the Final Four, are going to be way bigger than the men's, because the highest rated second round game of both tournaments was CaitlinClark by far. She blew away the men. I just think that demand for her is going to be there whether or not she does the Big 3. So I think if she does the Big 3, then all of a sudden her being the WNBA is not as special. She's got to be very careful about her brand here, and I don't think this helps her brand.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. You're welcome to weigh in. It's like, I don't think that like putting yourself in the box. Like a lot of people aren't so tuned in to, the WNBA playoffs, WNBA finals. That league is still growing.
Not yet.
Okay.
But nobody was tuned in to women's college basketball anywhere near where they are right now.
Okay, well, I just don't understand why if she might be like lifting the whole league.
Definitely.
But that's also like not on her shoulders. That shouldn't, the WNBA is still like in its infancy relatively. It's like 25 years old, right? So we're still a young league compared to the men's leagues, but it shouldn't be her burden to try to, she's already going to be one of the faces of the league the moment she steps on the floor, but it shouldn't be her burden to like, quote unquote, like, that she can't water down her brand, according to you, by going to do this other thing that gives her this big cash windfall. That doesn't hurt the WNBA. It's the WNBA's responsibility also to keep growing their game and to keep raising the level of what it means to be a WNBA champion. That's on the league. You can't pin that on one player.
Well, I don't even think you have to pin that on. I think it's just going to happen because I saw a stat during the Iowa game. Who did Iowa go to? The West Virginia.
Yeah.
That since CaitlinClark's gotten in the league, they've sort of increased their ratings by 40% every year. That's going to happen with WNBA. I'm telling you, she's going to bring eyeballs to WNBA. And with that is going to become plenty of marketing opportunities. She's going to have enough money. She'll be a broadcaster. She does not need the money. So the $5 million to me is not such a game changer. Where the downside of this is it'll be like, first of all, you're like, she played in the Big Three with retired men. It was kind of cool, but do I really need it? Do I take it as seriously anymore? I wouldn't.
Listen, you're going to give me the $5 million in the bank account. I know you're saying, endorsements and broadcasting. According to ESPN, the very famous journalist Wright Thompson did a long profile of Caitlin Clark. In that article, it said she was making about $850,000 this year in endorsements. So
that's nice. Just going to grow.
No, it's nice. Believe me, that it is. Although that remains to be seen. Because I do think there's a part of this Caitlin Clark story. There's a chance that her celebrity is peaking now. And so that's why I would take this if I were her, because there is clearly this appetite for her in women's college hoops. Are we sure that's going to follow her to the WNBA? You cannot say for certain that the casual fan she picked up playing at Iowa is going to follow her to the WNBA. And once again, we're talking about Caitlin Clark has an offer, according to former or current rapper Ice Cube, who runs the Big 3, the 3-on-3 basketball tournament that features retired NBA players, that he has made an offer to her to participate in their league, and he will pay her $5 million.
Okay, we're avoiding a more interesting question about this. How would she do in this league?
That's another fun one.
I wonder... it's a serious league, but I wonder, would they try and take advantage of the weight advantage? Would they get a switch on her and have a 6'8" former NBA player come down? What is she, 6 feet tall?
Yeah.
And what does she weigh? Probably.
I don't know.
Probably 140. I think
Tony Allen coming at her and closing out. That's just one of the guys.
Yeah, I saw a headline where somebody was talking about what if Reggie Evans. Reggie Evans is in every 3-on-3 league. What if he's 6'9", 250, gets switched on? Is how is she going to cover? That would be fun. I mean, I think that, but that's again, you get a little bit into some sideshow stuff with that because it's going to be so much attention. Oh, if she does poorly, then it proves that men are better than women. Oh, if she does well, that I just think that there's a lot of distractions. She was on such a great trajectory. She had this incredible college career, and then she was going to be the number one pick in the WNBA, and it's very serious. And to do this, you're getting it kind of feels like a Billie Jean King, Bobby Riggs kind of battle of the sexes vibe here that I don't know that she needs.
Well, the Billie Jean King, Bobby Riggs is like a moment in American history for women.
But does Caitlin need all that hype?
No, I don't think so. But that'd be a risk I'd be willing to take for $5 million. And I think that it's maybe everyone now knows my price. Like everyone has a price, and I don't think that she could be embarrassed here. I think that she would just be competing. And listen, I'm like looking at for example, Gary Payton is the coach on one of these teams. You're telling me you can't pick up a thing or two from Gary Payton just being around these guys too? It's not.
Gary Payton in a 3-on-3 league? No, nothing that helps you in the WNBA.
Well, I'm just saying, Gary Payton is a basketball mind and a brain I would like to pick. And Rick Barry. I mean, there's other coaches in here who you can glean something from. That's what I'm saying. You play for one of these
10-game stretch.
I'm just saying. maybe that's the weakest of my points, but that would be one I would use to say I can still grow, even if this feels like a sideshow. If I get on a team with a Hall of Famer like Gary Payton, I'm going to pick something up from that. That's not a negative to me. And I don't think that, if she gets her shot blocked by, I don't know, Swaggy
Gerald Green's in this.
I don't think all of a sudden that means her career is diminished.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot going on. I'll bet she says no, which is funny because $5 million, I think she's not going to do it. Because I do think that she was, everything was shaping up perfectly here. She's going to go hopefully on a deep tournament run.
Yep.
And then she's going to get drafted number 1 overall. And then her first game is going to be the highest rated WNBA game in history. This is all working according to plan. Why blow it up? Why blow it up with this sort of sideshow? Because there's too much downside. Even $5 million after taxes, depending where they do this. I mean, I just don't think it's worth it.
Please give me that problem.
I worry
$5 million after taxes.
And I kind of disagree with you on one thing. I do think she feels a burden to the sport, and I think that she takes that very seriously.
Why can't she do both?
Because
it doesn't hurt the WNBA if
I
she's
think it
also
does.
competing in the Big Three.
I think her pro debut needs to be in the WNBA. I think it's important.
This was from Ice Cube. Again, CaitlinClark being offered $5 million by Ice Cube's Big Three to play in their league. This is his quote. America's women athletes should not be forced to spend their off seasons playing in often dismal and dubious foreign countries just to make ends meet. And they should have more than just one professional option in the U.S. at a time when American pro sports leagues are being infiltrated by autocratic anti-woman regimes such as Qatar. Our path-breaking offer to CaitlinClark demonstrates that Big Three now offers another choice for athletes.
So wait, so that means that he's going to bring in lots of women?
I think he maybe not just Caitlin. Maybe he's making offers now to other stars of the league. Maybe Angel Reese gets a...
Or... that's a very
different skill set.
Very friendly read on Ice Cube here. Or maybe he wants to pay $5 million to CaitlinClark to get all those eyeballs on his league. Is that possible?
Could be both.
In America, it could be both? No. It's Ice Cube is marketing here.
As much as I think it would be very fascinating to see CaitlinClark playing against men in a professional league, because this is what it is, there is something Mickey Mouse cartoonish about it being 3-on-3. Like when we talk about the greatest players of their generations, of eras, of all time, typically we're ranking them among playing 5-on-5 basketball.
Right.
Like
she'll do that too, though.
Yeah, but I think it becomes a little bit sideshow-esque. And I don't want to disrespect the Big Three because I actually like the Big Three and I've watched the Big Three. And I obviously like Ice Cube as a legend, but like. I don't know. I think it adds a little sideshow to Caitlin that's unnecessary.
Yeah,
she's already a big enough star.
We were talking yesterday about the Olympic team for United States 3-on-3. Jimmer Fredette's on there. And Jimmer Fredette can't even get a 10-day contract anymore in the NBA. So it definitely is a level below.
I think that if you had a thing where we're talking about all things being equal, and again, this is CaitlinClark being offered $5 million to play on Ice Cube's 3-on-3 basketball league. If you were going to say, listen, you're going to a league that's where you're also going to be stepping into this kind of money. The NBA draft picks step into $20 million the moment their name is called, right? It's like game-changing, life-changing money, and they deserve it. But if you were saying all things being equal, do you want to participate in this more gimmicky league? I'd be like, all right, well, all things being equal. All things aren't equal, and that's the world we're living in now. And Caitlin has a chance to make a lot of money, but she might not be looking at this kind of money this quickly. It's going to take a while to get to $5 million if you're just playing women's hoops in women's leagues. And in terms of the endorsements and stuff, sometimes you make $50 million in endorsements, and sometimes it's more like $50,000. It's all nice, but again, I think people think CaitlinClark is making millions and millions right now when she's not clearing $1 million.
Well, here's the thing, too. If she plays poorly, then that hurts her future earnings capability because I think she's on a pretty good path, in my opinion, here to go number one in WNBA. She's going to get ads forever. I mean, her and Jimmy Butler saying, did someone say shot? That's super fun. She's very marketable. I don't think she needs this. If she gets completely shut down, say guys go on a mission and really, really, like they're doing right now in the NCAA tournament, start face guarding her 45 feet away from the basket, and she doesn't score. There's a downside to this too, for sure.
So have you heard of the expression "a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush"? So you're saying Caitlin Clark could have endorsements till the end of time. That's never guaranteed. And we're already seeing stars behind her who she's like the mold breaker in terms of the logo threes, but you're already seeing stars who are coming up behind her who are also shooting. There's a chance where she's going to, just like all of sports, what's next? Who's the new flavor of the month? Who's the next big thing? And you can never count on marketing ad dollars to be there all the time. And if she gets embarrassed in the big three, well, I got $5 million to play basketball, and I think I'm laughing last here. I don't think that, $5 million, I don't think her pride would be like so hurt because, again, she's also going to be playing in the WNBA in theory.
I think her career is bigger than that. I don't think she needs this $5 million. Easy for me to say. I think she's just so much more than anybody else who's come before her in that sport. It was the right. I think it was the right time, right place. But she is going to be the biggest star in the WNBA, even if she's not the best player. She could be the 10th best player, and she's going to be really marketable because everyone saw her in college. Unlike the NBA right now, nobody saw any of these players in college, so nobody cares about them coming to the league. Everybody's going to care about her. Way too much downside for just $5 million. $5 million, by the way, for her, I think she's going to out-earn that easily moving forward.
Up next, results from the Maggie and Perloff one-hit wonder bracket. You're welcome to weigh in on Caitlin Clark as well. 855-212-4CBS. Would you take the $5 million from the big three, even if it's a bit of a sideshow, or would you stay with the WNBA, stay on the path that's sort of laid out in front of you, and not deviate from it? Maggie Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Oh, here we go. Okay. One hit wonder bracket. Every March, in addition to the NCAA tournament bracket, we do a non-basketball bracket. This year, it's one hit wonders. We should put a warning on the show. They will get stuck in your head. I've been wandering around all week singing Who Let the Dogs Out. My wife's like, you got to stop. But I understand we have some results here, Maggie.
We will have them in just a moment. Hold that thought for 1 second while we go to our pal Rich in Chicago wants to talk about the NCAA tournament on the men's side. Hey, Rich, how are you?
Hey, guys and gals. I got two quick things for you. One thing that's not being mentioned about Calipari saving his job, and I kind of dug through this thinking, okay, now why would they do that? Because I, like others, think they need to run him off. But he's got the number 2 class coming in.
Yeah.
On recruiting and no defections, despite his lack of coaching ability. So, and the thing that's funny about that is, and this just kind of blew me away. This is for Perloff. The number 1 class, as you might suspect, is Duke. They have 5 5-stars. So now, Perloff, you got 5 new guys to hate.
Yeah, that's 25 stars to hate right there. I could do the math. Appreciate that.
Stars. Yeah, and then the other thing, just because it's a Big Ten deal, is Rutgers has the number 3 class in the country now, so go figure that. Rutgers.
I know. Well, Steve Peichel's done a fantastic job recruiting. Rich, thank you so much for the call. Good to hear from you. A couple NBA sons on those Rutgers teams. Was Ron Harper Jr.? I think he's gone at this point, but they've done a good job.
I love that theory that Pitino's got this recruiting class. You know my theory that Jim Harbaugh only got to stay at Michigan because he was tied to J.J. McCarthy when they finally signed a quarterback. So that's as good a reason as I've heard before. Then again, I have heard Kentucky has a bunch of 5-stars and it hasn't resulted in anything. So I don't know where that's going.
Yeah, the recruiting doesn't seem to be the problem for Cal. The recruiting is not the problem. It's the getting out of the first weekend of the tournament.
Right, but if you're a power that be in Kentucky, you do see this class coming in and the $33 million buyout. I felt like the easiest path was like, let's let him hang around.
We don't want to bother with a $33 million buyout.
Yeah, $33 million buyout. We lose the recruiting class. All for Scott Drew? No, I'm not seeing it.
Okay, so we have our Maggie and Perloff March Madness one-hit wonder bracket. This is the round of 32 in the Turn It Up region. So here is looking to make their way to the Sweet 16. It is the number 1 overall seed in this region, Rapper's Delight.
I said a hip hop, the hip it to the hip hop. You don't stop the rocker to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat.
Okay, that's going up against the 8th seed, I'm Too Sexy.
Too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts. And I'm too sexy for Milan. Too sexy for Milan.
All right.
New York and Japan.
Thank you for filling that in.
The Peopleati song.
Everybody was thinking it in their head. Okay, the 5th seed in this region, again, the Maggie and Perloff bracket of one-hit wonders. The 5th seed, this is No Rain by Blind Melon.
All I can do is read a book to stay awake, and it rips my life away, but it's a great escape.
Bogusch just giving us eyes.
This song is just it's too good for this.
Oh, God.
It's too good to be a one-hit wonder.
That goes up against the 13 seed. I got 5 on it. Okay, the 11 seed in the Maggie and Perloff bracket of one-hit wonders, round of 32. 11 seeded Jump by Chris Cross. And that goes up against the 3 seed Gangnam Style.
Hey, sexy lady. Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady.
How this has not gotten a second life on TikTok is beyond.
Oh, my God. I saw someone doing a Gangnam Style dance at a game 2 days ago.
Man,
it adds a second, third, and fourth life.
This thing is massive. All right, the last matchup, the Maggie Perloff one-hit wonders round of 32 in the Turn It Up region. 10-seeded, I'm Gonna Be.
But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walks 1,000 miles.
Okay, and that goes up against the 2nd seed in this region, Bittersweet Symphony by The Verve.
I can change, I can change, I can change, but I'm here in my mode. I am here in my mode, and I'm a million.
We were told by our boss, Spike Eskin, that Verve fans are going to be upset with us because apparently they had a couple other songs, but we have yet to find any Verve fans, so we think we're in the clear.
This bracket's this is on the weak side of all our brackets. This is, we had some powerhouses yesterday. I feel like somebody's getting set up for the slaughter in the Final Four.
Well, you can go vote at Maggie and Pearl on Twitter. That's the round of 32 in the Turn It Up region, so that will determine who moves on to the Sweet 16. Now, we also have people who have punched their ticket to the Sweet 16. Do we want to do that now, or do we want to save that for later? Do it now. We're doing it now, guys. This is the last call region. Now, these are songs that have punched their ticket to the Elite Eight, right? This is the winners of the Sweet 16. This is going to the Sweet 16. Apologies. This is going to the Sweet 16 in the last call region. Here's some winners for you. Number 1 overall seed in this region moves on. It's Baby Got Back.
Like big butts, and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny. Now when a girl walks in with an itty-bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. Wanna pull up tough.
Okay, that moves on. Baby Got Back. Also moving on, 99 Luft Balloons, the 5th seed.
99 Luftballons, ihren Weg zum Horizont, hielt man für UFOs aus dem All. Warum schickte ein General?
All right, also advancing in this tournament, 11-seeded Closing Time by Semi.
Want to take me home. I know want to take me home.
And finally, the Maggie and Perloff bracket of one-hit wonders, last call region. Who is moving on to the Sweet 16? It's 867-5309.
867-5309.
All right, there you go. We'll have more results for you tomorrow. You can go to @Maggie and Perloff and you can vote for these one-hit wonders. By the way, all of these, like, the voting is thin margins. We're getting buzzer beaters in these in this bracket. 58% to 42, 54 to 45, 51-49. Close games. Close matchups.
Competition increases when you move on in the tournament.
Look at that, right? Andrew Bogusch has headlines.
Hello again, guys.
Hi.
How are you doing, Pete?
Looking for your script?
I actually am.
Can we help you with
Hey,
that?
what's up?
I have to be honest. I am overwhelmed by the search for Jay. and my screen was boy names that start with J.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
I don't know how I missed it the first time around, but this is all I've thought about for the last 45 minutes. You can ask EJ. I've come into the room 3 different times with groups of suggestions.
So because everyone's obsessed about figuring out what EJ's middle name is, you've now neglected all of your duties as update man.
Well, no, not all of them. I mean, I'm prepared for the update, except I just had the wrong screen open. But we're on the subject.
Jasper.
Jasper?
No.
Jordan.
Oh.
Jeremiah?
Oh.
No.
Jasper?
I think that's all the guesses you get for right
Jared?
now.
Enough. No.
Jaden.
No, they're all wrong. Let's keep going.
Jagger.
Let's go.
Joel
No.
or Joel?
No way.
Stop.
Let's
Okay.
go.
To be honest, if it was Jagger, that'd be quite the upset.
Yes.
Maybe your parents are big Rolling Stone fans, actually.
And if you actually pronounce it Joel instead of Joel, that would be interesting too.
I almost spit out my coffee.
Elijah Joel.
Elijah, Joel, Embiid, Stewart.
EJES.
I'll get to the Dodgers now. They would like you to look over here, away from their possibly gambling superstar. So they made a baseball move yesterday, signing all-star catcher Will Smith to a 10-year, $140 million deal. Smith turns 29 tomorrow, would have been a free agent after next season. The length of the deal helps L.A. spread out the luxury tax charge.
It's actually $1 a year for the next 139 million years.
Nothing going on here, though.
Did they defer this one too?
No,
like
this is
Ohtani?
just not deferred, but just signing a 29-year-old catcher for 10 years makes no sense unless you want to spread out all the money you're going to give him.
Well, it does make sense to me. He's getting $14 million. I did the math. $14 million a year. 140 divided by 10. Needed the calculator. I thought the Bat Boys in MLB make $14 million. How is a real MLB player only getting that much money?
This should be like a 5-year, $140 million deal.
I've never heard of a deal this small in the MLB. Every deal we do is $36 million for like a backup second baseman. This is crazy money.
Now it's opening day for almost everybody else. The Dodgers, of course, have already split 2 games with the Padres in South Korea. TMZ Sports asked Mookie Betts yesterday if the Ohtani drama is a distraction for the team.
No. We just focus on business, taking care of business, and that's all we keep first.
Mookie said
Play
that
some
while
cards, everything.
Convincing.
Mookie said that while he was wearing some Raising Cane's gear. He was working at a restaurant as a charity event yesterday.
Don't tell Schwartz that.
Man, we still have not gotten the Raising Cane's. We talked a big game about it finally opened in Brooklyn, right? Or
Well, there's one near me. Yeah, I mean they're all over the country.
no, all of the but
they're
new
here.
New York.
All right.
There's actually
Are we doing it today?
There's 2 in
How about
Manhattan.
tomorrow?
I saw one. I actually went by one the other day.
There's one in
Times Square.
Station that's not open yet, and I see it every morning, and I can't wait for it to be
Do it
ready.
right now.
How about if I was king for a day and if I was going to win our tournament, I'd make everybody buy me Raising Cane's.
It's a wonderful suggestion.
That's great.
What time do they open? It's 7:30 in the morning on the
let's
East
go.
Coast.
Bit of a problem there.
Do they serve breakfast at this place?
Hey,
Doesn't
come
look
on.
like it.
Should.
Fried chicken for breakfast.
That's right.
People just drink that sauce too. I'm
know.
sorry, back to you, Bogusch.
Is that what it is? Is the sauce this thing?
It's like a pinkish sauce, it looks like.
All right, this has got to end. We've been talking about it. We're doing it in the next 48 hours.
I don't really
before
consider
the weekend.
it. By the way, it's not really fried chicken.
It's like chicken tenders.
It's chicken tenders.
Right, it's fried. Chicken tenders are
Yeah,
fried.
but there's a difference between fried chicken and what Raising Cane's has.
Look, there's no bones, right? Is it
Yeah,
like
yeah.
KFC?
They don't.
Can you
it's
get
not
like
like
a 6-piece?
It's not like Popeyes, right? You can't get.
It's all strips and nuggets.
It's
right?
all strips, as I recall.
Okay, Guy Fieri,
No, but there is a difference, like boneless or not.
No, I know, but
He calls Raising
still
Cane's a fried chicken joint.
It's
right?
still fried chicken. Though.
Definitely fried chicken, but can you get a drumstick?
I
from
don't
there?
think so.
I think it's an important distinction, Elijah, whatever.
Jezebel.
Someone
Very
said-
important.
What'd you say in the chat? Jurloff? Like we're just making
Yeah,
up.
Elijah Jurloff.
That's an
Stewart.
awful name.
Jeter. Elijah Jeter?
No.
Damn it.
No,
We're still trying to-
I was born before Jeter got to the majors.
That's
so I wasn't
true.
gonna
You're not
happen.
that young.
We're still trying to figure out EJ's middle name. Sorry, back to you, Bogusch.
Whatever. I want to do that, not sports. The Dodgers, they host the Cardinals 1 Pacific today. 2 openers will not happen today because of rain. Braves, Phillies, Brewers, Mets will try again tomorrow afternoon. So the Suns can lose to the Spurs without Wemby. They can also win twice this month in Denver.
Now Booker right side gives to Durant. He'll pull up for 3 and drill it on the right wing. Kevin Durant, 28 points on the night. Suns go up 15 to equal their biggest lead. lead, 98-83.
John Bloom, Suns Radio. KD scored 30 in a 104-97 win in the Mile High City. The Suns bump up to 7th in the West, a half game ahead of the Kings. The Rocket win streak is 10 after a 132-126 OT win in OKC. But Houston stays out of the play-in because the Warriors won in Orlando 101-93, despite Draymond getting ejected in less than 4 minutes. And the T-Wolves handled the Pistons 106-91 for the 5th 50-win season in franchise history. It also moves them into a tie with the Thunder for the 2 seed in the West. They're a half game behind those Nuggets. So we spent a lot of time this week on the rule changes coming out of the NFL's annual meetings in Orlando. Not sure this one came up. Hard Knocks getting a facelift, mainly because teams don't want to do it. The in-season version of the show will follow an entire division instead of one team like the Dolphins last season. And the original training camp version now has new procedures for picking a subject. Teams used to be able to turn down the show if they made the playoffs in the previous 2 seasons. That escape route has now closed. You can only say no now if you have a new coach, if you're going to be on the in-season Hard Knocks that season or the following one, or if you've been on the show in the previous 8 seasons.
Oh, man. That
used
really...
to be 10, so they shortened that window as well.
But think about who this opens it up to. I mean, now we're looking at the Chiefs could be in. We're looking at the Bills could be in for training camp Hard Knocks. You're looking at the Ravens.
I keep hearing the Bears as a possibility, too, because of Caleb Williams. Eberflus is not new.
Right.
And they have not been on, I don't think, ever. So I've seen them mentioned more than once.
Would you rather have the Bears or would you rather have a team that's made the playoffs consistently that we've never gotten to see?
Oh, Bears by a mile. I want to see Caleb Williams and his pink accessories. This is going to be amazing. You don't usually get to see the number 1 pick. You had Jared Goff, I think, was number 1, and they did him.
Yeah.
But that'd be really cool. The Bears, to me, would be number 1. Who would you want to see, Meg?
Well, there's been a lot of teams that have been able to avoid it simply because they've been so good. Maybe San Francisco 49ers.
That's
always
what I wanna
seem
see,
to be
I
a
think.
lot of drama around the 49ers quarterback situation in years past.
Well, Baltimore was the first one, and I don't think
that
they've
was
been
great.
on since. So maybe Baltimore under
With
Harbaugh
Lamar.
now. Yeah.
Cool.
I feel like the well-run teams are less interesting to me. I don't want to see the winners. I want to see the chaotic teams because Baltimore's probably runs a pretty tight ship over there. I'd imagine.
I'm intrigued by the teams that are run smoothly because I never see it. So
What does that look like?
Yeah, you've seen a lot of Jets on Hard Knocks.
Can we get the
Absolutely
Patriots?
fair.
Right.
Oh,
We kind
I
of get
can't.
a lot of Patriots in our life right
yeah,
now.
there's
The
yeah.
documentary.
This would be the year to do it.
Kind of interesting.
First year with new coach. Yeah.
Or does the NFL want to dip its toes back into Taylor Swift and put the Chiefs on one of these to maybe
they
get a
can't
glimpse
help
of her
themselves.
again?
You're so right. They cannot help themselves.
That's a 3-pointer in the foul.
I would say this. I think if they do the Chiefs, we will not see any behind-the-scenes Taylor Swift Travis stuff. Not anything.
Why? They love it.
No. Oh no. I don't. I think that's the line where they'll say, "Yeah, Taylor just doesn't show up." She's going to be like the white whale, George Steinbrenner and Seinfeld. Like she's not showing up.
It seems too
See the
obvious.
back of her head?
Yeah, it seems too obvious to do the Chiefs. You're right.
Like I think the stuff we see in the public they'll do, and like she's on the field. Like we're not going to see. Oh, she came home to Travis, and they sat around and watched Netflix. Like those little scenes they have. You are not getting that.
Or like walking the dog, talking about their life in football. That's
Exactly.
not going to happen.
Or some Mike Duff stuff with her at training camp, and talking to the other wives. No chance.
You would either get none of it or all of it because she would have to probably sign off on a lot of it.
It's like another commercial for her. I don't know why she'd say no. And clearly, Travis said he watches Love is Blind, EJ, your favorite show. You could have Taylor and Travis together watching Love is Blind.
But Hard Knocks is super desperate. Like they're fighting for their life. So I think a little Taylor Swift, even if you have footage of her from elsewhere, work for the NFL. Maybe that's their. I think Hard Knocks, because there's so much access to all these teams 24 hours a day. I mean, Hard Knocks is nothing different than Instagram right now.
Actually,
so I don't know if they're going to be able to pull up anything here.
You make a great point. Just getting any glow from
Yeah.
Taylor helps. And her live tour is on Disney Plus, so that's not an HBO product. So you're kind of competing. But maybe they should do the division, make it the AFC West, because then you get a little Harbaugh. You get a little Raiders, which is always fun.
The division thing was the thing I was actually
Sean
more interesting to
Payton.
me. Trying to think of what division. It's got to be
AFC West would be pretty fun.
But
See, that's why I think the North would be great. And I know the Lions did it very recently. I don't think Dan Campbell will care. I think he'd do it again. But to me, I think that's going to be a race I think is going to be fascinating between the Packers, another team never done it before. You get thrown the Vikings, Jettas, and what's his situation and how's he behind the closed doors?
The Packers have never been on Hard Knocks, huh?
Nope.
But here's the thing: if you do two teams, you lose the whole Hard Knocks thing. You remember when they did the Chargers and the Rams? Terrible, worst season ever because you couldn't grab onto any characters. I think if you did 4, how can you do the guy who's going to get cut? You're not going to have time.
Well, that'll be the in-season one, right, bro?
Yeah.
If I'm mistaken.
In-season
one.
one for the division.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it
In-season,
starts weeks in, too. It doesn't start. I mean, they'll show you week 1 stuff, but I don't think the cameras show up until like week 5 or something.
But the funny thing is,
that's how they did in the past.
The Colts just do their own, do it anyway.
A
They
lot
don't
of
even
teams
care.
do.
Yeah, like everybody
too.
does this.
Yeah.
So what's the deal? And that players do it. I mean, I unfortunately, I think I used to love Hard Knocks. Favorite show. I haven't watched it in years, except for that annoying Aaron Rodgers stuff last year.
Well, but you could say that, and you didn't watch it, but a lot of people watched that.
No, the numbers have not been good.
Okay. Well,
Hard Knocks,
it was every subject of every show.
Why do you think they're changing the rules?
I don't think it's because of that season. I think it was because they've been trying to get teams and they've been trying to avoid it. They just avoided it like the plague last year.
Yeah. Nobody wants to do it, so they had to make it easier for them to force teams to do it.
They might be
this won't really change ratings. It could, I guess, theoretically team by team, but this is more about making teams have to say yes to that.
They might be better off switching off where one year they do the preseason one, and then the next year they do the in-season one, and going like that. It might add a little more juice back into it.
By the way, last year, 13-year viewership
Yeah, I know,
high.
because they had Rodgers.
That's
But
what
that's
I'm
because
trying to tell you.
the ratings have been dying.
Right, but I'm saying
Dying.
yeah, and I know. I'm just saying they had a resurgence, so I think they're trying to mix it up a little bit.
Well, we're talking about Hard Knocks and changing some of the criteria for who will be on the show, and also adding a in-season version that follows a division, not just one team. Think about all the people they missed out on. You never did Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay because they kept making the playoffs. You never had Tom Brady in New England because they kept making the playoffs. Peyton Manning, has he ever been on Hard Knocks? I'm sure no.
No.
So unfortunately, those kind of rules.
Well, they didn't have those rules back then.
No,
right?
they did.
They did.
If you made the playoffs, you didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, going all the way back to 2000?
And that's why I think, unfortunately, of course, things could trail off a little bit because the star power clearly helps. Like Aaron Rodgers clearly gives you a bump.
Yeah. Because a lot of times you're following teams that are like. Now, I'm sure the Ocho Cinco seasons were awesome, and those probably did really well because the Bengals were a really fun team. But look, usually you're following a sad sack team. Like you're following the Dan Campbell Lions in year 1.
Although the Cowboys did it twice. And
Yeah, 'cause
speaking of
Jerry
the
doesn't
Cowboys, speaking of the Cowboys, thank you, Bogusch. Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy explains why he isn't feeling the pressure this season, but should he be? We tackle that next in our Cowboy Quickie. Don't move, Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
That's our Cowboy Quickie music, and this portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. Checking on the Cowboys today, we check in on Mike McCarthy, who is speaking to the media from the owners' meetings. Let's hear cut 2, please. Mike McCarthy says he doesn't feel any added pressure, given the fact that the Cowboys never extended his contract. He's going into a lame duck year.
I don't see it as more pressure. I think it's just the reality of our industry. I mean, that's what it is. So, you know, it's you know, those are business decisions, and those are really personal.
Yeah, and Mike McCarthy says he takes the same approach to his teams every year, no matter what his contract situation is.
You know, the approach is always the same. I mean, we're all given an excellent opportunity to coach, you know, 2024 Dallas Cowboys, and no one's more engaged in that than we are. So the financial component, everybody's different in that realm, but, you know, regardless of where you're on a contract. So.
All right, and finally, Mike McCarthy says don't feel bad for him. He's not worried about himself. He is more concerned for younger coaches and their job status.
Now, when I look at the younger coaches, you know, yeah, I worry more about them than I do about myself because I know where I am in my career. But the reality of it is, if you don't take the same approach every year, you're really looking at it the wrong way. So your financial structure should not, you know, deter from your approach to the season.
Mike McCarthy, that's your Cowboy Quickie.
Yeah, what was that? Was that us or was that McCarthy?
Yeah, that was us.
Oh, okay.
The world will never know. Mike McCarthy also saying, Perloff, that he doesn't feel the pressure to do more with less, like what Jerry Jones had said when he completely reversed course from all in to now more with less after the Cowboys essentially sat out free agency.
Yeah, I mean, what's he supposed to say? Because they really have no choice. Obviously, all this hinges on what they do with Dak, but I'm looking at this Dak situation. Are the Cowboys doing anything to create enough salary cap space to really change the face of this team? No, they keep on getting stuck in these bad situations. He has no choice. There's nothing. What's he supposed to say? They're screwed with the salary cap as is. They're not going to. They obviously did nothing this free agency. The poor management is actually coming to light. The poor cap management.
Oh yeah,
which surprised me because they've been a really good drafting team. But the problem with being a good drafting team is you have to be really clever how you pay these guys. And now I think they're just too late. It's too late to do anything. And you saw that All In was obviously a farce.
Yeah, that was just something designed to try to ease the pain of the Cowboy fan after losing in a devastating style to the Green Bay Packers when you're a touchdown favorite at home and you have Super Bowl expectations. The thing is about the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy, I'm never going to say that he's going to lose his job because if last year's exit out of the postseason it wasn't enough to push you out the door, I don't know what's going to be.
But he won 12 games.
Right. So their over-under in the early win totals is what, 10.5? I don't think the Cowboys, if they get a deal done with Dak or not, no matter what happens, I don't see them falling off this major cliff where all of a sudden now they're a 5-win team. Unless some devastating injury happens. I think you're still looking at a team with double-digit wins. I think Jerry will always have a cover to bring him back. We saw this with Jason Garrett for years.
I'd be surprised if they got to 12 wins again this year. You're right. It is a pretty high win total. Doesn't it feel like they've taken a step back from last year? Well, because everyone else has taken a step up. They haven't done anything.
Yeah, but again, and you always remind me of this, what you do in March is, you win March, good for you. It does not translate to December.
Right, but they have such big needs to stop the run. They can't stop the run. So they needed to add linebackers and interior linemen. Instead, we find out that their first-round pick for last year, Mozzie Smith, is recovering from shoulder surgery. Tight end Luke Schoonmaker also recovering from shoulder surgery. So they needed some help to shore up the middle, and they did nothing. And they lost Tyron Smith. They lost a lot of guys.
Well, maybe they're hoping the addition of Mike Zimmer as a defensive coordinator, somebody who, Dan Quinn is a very good defensive coordinator. Now he's moved on to be the head coach of Washington. But, Mike Zimmer, his ability to stop the run is kind of like what he hangs his hat on.
Ooh, yeah, it's going to be tough with this personnel. Was Dan Quinn that bad against the run? Actually, I don't see the number. It's not like he was awful against the run. He's one of the best defensive coordinators we've ever seen. So I worry about the personnel
Aaron
here.
Jones really got him in that playoff game. That one was bad. But listen, they also were
Dan
very
Quinn
thin.
he held Peyton Manning to 8 points at a Super Bowl. He's And he transformed. He took the worst defense in the league and improved them at 32 at Dallas in 2019 to like 8 the next year.
Yeah, I know, but you're right. He is a very good defensive coordinator. But again, they're bringing in Mike Zimmer, not just because they're familiar with him at the Cowboys, but I think for this specific reason.
He's definitely a step down from Dan Quinn. That's just my opinion.
So quickly, we have vowed on this show that within the next 48 hours, we will finally eat Raising Cane's, which is open in New York recently. Mitch is in Northwest Arkansas. He's got a thought for us. Good morning, Mitch.
Hey, good morning. Woo Pig Suey from here in Northwest Arkansas. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. What's in your mind?
Hey, the big take here is Raising Cane's. You got to try it. It's the ultimate stick it to the man story. The legend goes, he pitched it to his college professor there at LSU. They said, no, it'll never work. He said, hold my beer, watch this. I'm going to cook some chicken fingers. Y'all want some?
I love those stories, Mitch. Thank you so much for telling us. The chicken will taste even sweeter now. I love those stories, and I also find that once people get rich and make it big, you generally find that story in their past. It's rare the person gets rich and they're like, everyone believed in me the whole way. And they told me my idea was awesome, and they said it was great. No one ever stepped in my way. No, usually there's a naysayer, there's a hater that puts a chip on someone's shoulder.
Yeah. Reminds me a little bit of the Chipotle story. You're right. There's always, but I don't know. I don't like these guys who invent these companies in college. I'm so jealous of them. That's a story. You're right. That is the restaurant story. It's always like a thesis project. It's like, what if we made affordable Mexican food?
$1 billion.
$1 billion later.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She's a violin prodigy. Her full name is Maggie the Stallion. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
On Thursdays around here, we do something called the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff. It is a look at one of sports' great what-ifs, what could have beens. Let's hit the music.
Exploring sports' biggest what-ifs and could-have-beens. Let's dive into the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff.
All right, we found ourselves talking a lot about the Warriors, Perloff, in the last couple days.
Yeah.
And as we've been talking about the Warriors and whether or not they're going to make the playoffs, and you and I have this side show bet of, between the Warriors and the Houston Rockets about who's going to make the play-in, we were just deep diving a little bit back into Golden State. So the multiverse today, the sports what-if or what could have been, what if Kevin Durant never went to the Warriors?
Okay.
An all-time great sliding doors moment for the NBA. What does the world look like if KD never goes to the Warriors? I'll give you the floor first. What do you think happens? How do both team and player, what alternate universe are we living in?
You're not going to like it. What happens is not going to help your guy LeBron.
Okay.
Because
LeBron is involved.
It's my long-held theory that the Warriors did not need Kevin Durant to keep on winning titles. And I think they should have won the title when Cleveland came back from 3-1. I think Steph Curry was secretly injured that season. He hurt his knee earlier in the playoffs. I think Steph Curry was a little watered down. We know about Draymond, but I think the Warriors could have won. And if Steph had won without KD, then you would have a very robust Steph Curry versus LeBron James for greatest player of this era. And I think he would have won. I think they would have beaten LeBron without KD in the next two finals. So all of a sudden we have the Steph Curry legacy is in a completely different place. As for Kevin Durant, I don't think Kevin Durant ever wins anywhere else because he definitely was not going to win in Oklahoma City. As he said, I just read a recent interview. He said in all that smoke, I was tired of being the only one on the team who could hit an outside shot. They were just designed poorly for the NBA playoffs. I don't think he was going to win there. Where was he going to go? Maybe Boston. There was just not an easy answer for him to go to a team that was going to beat Golden State. He wasn't going to team up with LeBron. He might be a bus rider, but he's not that big a bus rider. So he was not going to break into the championship ring. So his legacy goes down. But to me, the big takeaway is Steph wins without him. And then we're having a real Steph Curry versus LeBron James debate.
Man, interesting. So we're doing the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff. We go through sports what-ifs and what could have beens. Today we're doing what if Kevin Durant had never joined the Golden State Warriors, had never joined. Now, what's interesting about that is you think that Curry is hurt in the all-time debate because Durant was a teammate?
100%. Because he lost those two NBA Finals MVPs to Durant. Yes, of course. You don't think that Curry's legacy is watered down by having KD there?
I don't think so. I don't see it that way with Curry. I always see that this had a bigger impact on Durant being the bus rider because it was Curry's team. And he was the no doubt leader of it. And I think that still led to a lot of friction, quite frankly, because I think Durant thought he was going to be hailed as like the, hey, guys, I'm here and I'm putting us over the top to be this all-time great team. And the love was still so big for Curry that he could never sort of connect with teammates, fan base, whatever it was.
But when he actually went to the Long Island and recruited KD, he was basically saying, we're not good enough as we are. And in my mind, they didn't need to do that. If they were really about the legacy, they would have ran him back with the core four and just been the Golden State Warriors that just won 73 games. I mean, it's a bit unusual that they're the ones who said, we need KD. I think that definitely weakened his stance because you don't really hear a LeBron Curry debate. I know our boss thinks Curry is better, but if he had been able to beat him 1-on-1 instead of 2-on-1, it was definitely 2-on-1. It was KD and Curry. Then it would have looked much different to me.
Interesting. All right, we're doing the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff, which is sports what-ifs and what could have been. Today we're asking, what if KD had never joined the Golden State Warriors? So in my opinion, I believe that KD still would have won a title in OKC. And the reason I think that is because not only was that OKC team put together, you know, you still have Sam Presti, who's still there, who's thought of as one of the great general managers. He got rid of James Harden after OKC lost in the finals to the Miami Heat because Harden was terrible in that finals, right? Part of the reason. And they couldn't pay everybody, but part of the reason. And you know what? He was 100% right that James Harden has continued to be a playoff failure. Now, that was and would end up being a good move. The next move, I think Sam Presti would have figured out.
Whoa. Stop there. You're saying getting rid of James Harden was a good move?
Yes, because he's such a playoff choker.
Okay.
So you have to get Harden off the team. And then I think if KD had stayed, and you mentioned he said, I didn't want to stay because I was the only one who could hit an outside shot. I think eventually he goes to the front office and says, you got to get Russell Westbrook out of here. And Russ would have had a lot of value then to be traded and bring in something else. Russell Westbrook then is not how we think of Russell Westbrook now. That was like, you know, Russ Westbrick. Like, that's not his reputation. He still had yet to win an MVP at that point. His reputation was, you know, sky high. So I think they do end up trading Russ out. I think they do end up building a championship team. And I do think that KD wins. Listen, they were up 3-1 on the Golden State Warriors and collapsed before KD left OKC to go join those Golden State Warriors. It's not like they were so far behind what Steph Curry and those guys were doing. They were right there with them. And then KD left and joined the Warriors, and it tilted the scales in the Western Conference so much.
I mean, there were a lot of years that James Harden was right there, too. But even if James Harden could push the Warriors to 7 games, we knew he was never going to get over that hump. And in my opinion, Russell Westbrook was never going to finish that series.
Okay, what about KD? See, if you give a different cast of characters, I think KD wins a ring in OKC.
Yeah, but I don't understand exactly. How were they going to get rid of Russell? How long was all that going to take to reshape? And look at the shooters around him. He was dead right. They were a terrible shooting team. There was nothing there for him. I don't see that team as a brink of a title to me. And that's why he got out of there. I mean, that speaks. All you need to know is he didn't hate Oklahoma City. He was fine living there.
Oh, yeah.
He just thought, I'm never going to win a title here.
So that's the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff, the what if, what could have been. We do this every Thursday at this time. And today's question is, what if KD had never joined the Warriors? Now, another part of my multiverse here with KD is if he stays in Oklahoma City, Perloff, we never talk about him as a bus rider. That whole thing goes away. The burner accounts go away. The cupcake stuff goes away. Like all the other, we talk about the basketball side, the off the court side. Kevin has a totally different reputation, I think, if he never leaves.
Yeah, but he's not. I mean, he almost definitely is in in my mind, he's in the Charles Barkley never won a title category. I mean, let's see. Maybe I'm missing something. Has he come really close since he left Golden State? He almost won that series against the Bucks when he was on the Nets, but he's not winning another time. So he's going to go down with 2 rings because of Golden State. But I think there's no way he sheds up. He's nothing. He's not even on the championship bus unless he goes to Golden State.
Well, but they had made the finals already as a young team in OKC.
2012. Yeah, but I totally disagree. I don't think their trajectory was towards a title. I mean, honestly, Harden did better than those guys eventually in Houston. I don't think that that OKC team was going to win, and I think that's why he left. And I remember when he left, I was like, yeah, of course he left. He knows that there's no way this OKC team can win it all.
So that's the multiverse. Maggie and Perloff. I think KD, if a sports what if or what could have been, if we're doing KD never goes to the Golden State Warriors, Perloff's imagining him
sort of floating around,
Yep.
and then it's Steph Curry time. Well, let me ask you, do you think that Steph Curry and Draymond and Klay Thompson could have won another title in that part of the 2010s without KD? Did they need him to get over the top again? And part of my argument, by the way, is that they eventually won another one once they all got on the same page again in 2021. So, or sorry, 2021, 2022. So I don't think they needed KD. In fact, I look back on it now. I'm like, why did they go get KD? They didn't need him. Give KD to someone else.
They recruited him heavy. I mean,
Yeah,
Draymond
which-
was recruiting him that whole season while he was even in OKC. I still think the Warriors would have won. Yeah, I do. Because
Yeah.
I think if we play this out, and it would have still been those Cavs teams that would have been making the
Right.
finals from the Eastern Conference. And I do think they were much better than the Cavs.
But and again, by the way, my version of the multiverse too, maybe LeBron gets another one too. It's closer to Jordan because basically once KD went to Golden State, it was over.
It was over.
It was game over for the next two seasons.
Yeah.
And it limited LeBron's rings, and to me, it limited Steph's legacy. So that to me is the big takeaway of this multiverse. I just can't get with you that he would have won in OKC or even stayed in OKC. Even if he had signed that deal, eventually I think to me, this is a precursor to Giannis. Eventually, stars get frustrated. I think it was not going to work.
So
but you think that Thunder would be champions?
I do. I think he would have won a title there. 855-212-4CBS. Okay, again, the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff. We do this every Thursday at this time, which is a sports what if, what could have been. Today, it's what if KD had never gone to the Warriors. EJ, you want to give us your spin on this one?
KD, I think, wins a championship with the Thunder. I agree that there's a great chance that Russell Westbrook gets traded as they continue to hit that wall and not make it through. But I'm also not convinced that they couldn't have won even with Russ and KD together. Because one thing I think we kind of forget when it comes to teams that won titles is the wear and tear that comes with going all the way deep into the playoffs and trying to repeat. The Warriors had it somewhat easy having such a talented roster, having someone like KD. They made it look easy,
right.
But as we saw, it wasn't. They got pushed to 7 games by James Harden. It showed you how hard it still is to repeat as champion. I think this idea that it would have just been LeBron and Steph just trading rings back and forth, that wouldn't have happened. Somebody else would have came in there because we've seen for the last several years all these other guys win. Giannis win, Jokic win. Like other guys are coming in there and winning. Russ Westbrook next year became an MVP. And the one thing I'll say as well is that Thunder team was really young when KD left. Like we can talk about Russ and KD being in his prime. Serge Ibaka was 26, about to become a two-time defensive player, all defensive team next 2 years. You had Steven Adams was only 22 years old. So you had some young guys in your core that would have also gotten better, that would have also become championship caliber players. Serge Ibaka helped the Raptors win a championship. So I really think that they would have found a way to win. And I do agree that KD's legacy would have been totally different.
But he was there 10 years. It's not like he didn't try to win with the Thunder. I think he was hitting his head against a wall there. It felt like to me.
A little bit, yeah. But I mean, how many times do guys, struggle and eventually they break through? I think that's honestly why people are so frustrated with KD when this decision came. Because we saw Michael go through 8-9 years in Chicago, hitting his head against the wall against the Pistons. And guess what? Pistons got old. Bulls got better. They entered their prime, and then they took over. Like, I think that's what's so frustrating for me about it is because I felt like I watched, if someone's a Steph Curry fan, that Thunder team was terrifying in that series. They were dominating the Warriors.
Oh, yeah. It took a Klay Thompson miracle game. I mean, game of all games for Klay.
And we keep always banging on Russell Westbrook, but it took a Kevin Durant absolute stinker in Game 6 to even get that to Game 7.
Yep.
He was the one that cost him that series, not Russell Westbrook.
So why did he leave?
He left because he took the easy way out. It's not rocket science. Like it's the Warriors had a stacked roster. If you add a guy like him to a 73-win team, it was the easiest path to championship. And I'm not even here to criticize whether or not that was whatever. That's the thing he did. But that's why. It wasn't like he was on some team that was they made the finals a couple years before. They were a consistent playoff team. It wasn't like he was on some bottom feeder that were lucky to make the playoffs every year. He was on like a title contender.
So the other part too that gets a little lost in history is there was this unprecedented salary cap spike that happened directly preceding that offseason, which allowed the Warriors to even fit KD onto the team that already had stars. Steph Curry had signed a team-friendly deal because he was dealing with ankle injuries before that. So a lot of financial things had to come together as well. Again, multiverse of Maggie and Perloff every Thursday at this time. Today we're doing sports what-ifs, what could have beens, what if KD never joined the Warriors.
You guys probably definitely think LeBron would have won in Cleveland then, right?
Yeah, he wins another one, I think.
No, I'm saying if he had never gone to Miami, do you think LeBron would have won?
We'll save that for another.
I'm just saying, like,
save that for another week.
Dynamic.
Don't give away all the secret stuff.
The same dynamic. He had to leave to win a title. KD clearly had to win to leave a title. Same.
No, it's not the same. I'm going to push back on that real quick because LeBron did not have a player next to him as good as Russell Westbrook. It was not the same.
Oh, God. That's your argument? Russell. Oh, my God.
Name the
Do you know what he shot
Name
that
the player.
year?
Name the player.
Anybody. If the ball boy had suited up, he's less of a detriment than Russell Westbrook was. Dude,
that's how you know who knows
any
ball.
key game, Russell Westbrook, just leave 5 feet off him, you'll take a terrible
Except
clunker.
Game 6 when KD choked and they lost because he didn't show up.
You probably would have voted for Russell for MVP.
He was awesome. What's
because you need to hit shots to win NBA games.
We got Russell Westbrook can't make shots.
Yeah. Dude can't shoot.
We are thinking about the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff, the what if, what could have been. Today we're asking what if Kevin Durant had never gone to the Warriors? If he would have stayed in OKC, I will give you that Russell Westbrook back then was thought of very different than Russell Westbrook is now.
He's a superstar.
It is
Yeah, because
different.
the media doesn't understand basketball until recently when they started looking, hey, wait, is this guy efficient? He shot 29.6 from three the last year KD was there. Why do you think KD could get away from that guy faster?
But three-point shooting, there's also rebounds. There's also scoring regular points. There's also assists. There's ways to impact the game that isn't just shooting a three-pointer.
Well, I mean, it's just like there's so much work to do when you have Russell because you have to have the equipment team to reinforce the backboard because of all the ridiculous bricks he throws up. Anyway, I'm not a big fan.
Coming
Clearly.
up, we move. Yeah, we're picking that up. Anyway, you're welcome to weigh in on the multiverse if you have a thought on this. The question today, what if KD had never gone to the Warriors? It's one of our sports what-ifs or what could have beens. Coming up, Jordan Love's making some big claims about the Packers in 2024. So what did the young quarterback say? We will tackle that. It's Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
Be babies. Why can't baby just be babies? Why can't baby just be babies?
Seconds remaining.
I've delved into the depths of the earth and the depths of my own mind. And let me tell you, the revelations are mind-blowing. It's time to bring the wisdom of the cave and the wisdom of the jungle to the forefront. With me as your vice president, you can expect a leader who's not afraid to embrace the unconventional path to enlightenment. I'm not just a quarterback.
1 minute
I'm a sage
remaining.
who sipped from the sacred brew of ayahuasca and communed with the spirits of the cosmos. So, this election, let's make transcendence the ultimate victory. Vote Aaron Rodgers for vice president, and let's embark on a journey of
45
spiritual
seconds remaining.
awakening for America. Paid for by the committee to elect Aaron Rodgers.
Who was in the wrong, by the way? Why did Drake Greenlaw apologize? The security guard shouldn't have been anywhere near him. He's an actual player, and this guy is just like a poncho
30 seconds
wearing,
remaining.
Like he's wearing a windbreaker. Get out of here.
These Big Dom's good people. I don't know what. These are.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. I've gone rogue on a couple polls today, Maggie. I've not gotten approval from the team. Whenever you guys say something I completely disagree with, I assume the majority is with me, and I throw up a poll to make me feel better.
Yeah, your own competing poll on your own social media channel.
Right. So there's two things I've totally disagreed with you guys on today. If you were CaitlinClark, would you take $5 million to play in the Big 3? I thought it would be 90% said no. 64% say yes.
Bro, if it's $5 million.
That's nothing. CaitlinClark's going to make that in a weekend eventually.
I feel like the way you word questions gets weird answers. Because I wouldn't have worded it like that.
I think you're much more. You just think you're absolutely with everybody on everything. You don't understand when you're against the grain.
No, I agree with you on this take I'm saying. And I think the way you worded this is not how I worded this. You kind of screwed us.
How would you have worded it?
You should have said, if you were CaitlinClark, well, I'm not a millionaire or someone who has access to NIL money or whatever's going to. So, I think you should have just said, should CaitlinClark go to the Big 3 for $5 million? Should she? Because that's really what it comes down to.
The other one that shocked me, would KevinDurant win a title in OKC? I thought that would be 90-10 no. It was 57% said yes.
Yeah, well, this is our
There's no
multiverse.
way KevinDurant. Yeah, these debates, people got to call in and back me up here because I feel like I am making total sense, and you guys, everybody out there is arguing with me.
Well, this is the multiverse of Maggie and Perloff. We do a sports what if or what could have been, and today we're asking, what if KD had never left Oklahoma City? And I think he would have won a title in OKC, and Perloff thinks he still would have bounced around the league, never would have won.
Well, he had 10 years
Still
in
be the bus
OKC.
rider.
Would have had 3 more years OKC, no title. Eventually would have gone off elsewhere. But he has not won outside of Golden State. And I think at the end of the day, that's going to be his legacy.
I think there's probably a third poll that we put up today that you may also be on the losing side.
Oh, yeah, let me hear this.
Are chicken fingers fried chicken? Right? Or how did you word it?
Well, we can do that, but the question we did, because we were talking specifically about Raising Cane's.
Oh, got it.
Is, do you consider Raising Cane's a fried chicken spot? That is up now.
Got it.
But I have to. I'm going to win that one because it's not a fried chicken spot.
It's 50-50 after 2 votes.
2 votes. We just put it up. So
Does that mean Chick-fil-A is a fried chicken spot?
I think it is.
yeah, well, you also can get grilled chicken. But
No, Chick-fil-A is not a fried chicken spot. It's a chicken sandwich place.
No, I mean, half the time I go there, I don't get a sandwich. I get nuggets or strips.
Right. If you have chicken fingers, that's fried chicken.
Technically, yes, it is fried chicken, but it's not Kentucky Fried Chicken. I think when I think of fried chicken, I think of wings and legs and bones
all
and
different parts of the chicken.
Yeah. I think Chick-fil-A is a chicken sandwich joint, and Raising Cane's is chicken strips.
So I think
chicken tenders, whatever you want to call
and
them.
I know what you're saying. So I feel like because Popeyes is like people eat the strips almost as much as the regular chicken. Like that's like the strips are just. So you think that if you can't be a fried chicken place unless you sell bone-in fried chicken?
Absolutely.
Drums, wings.
Thank you.
Thighs, everything.
Don't agree, but I get your point.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. If they just all of a sudden said we're getting rid of everything, we're just going to do chicken strips, it would no longer be Kentucky Fried Chicken. It'd be Kentucky Fried Chicken strips.
You know what? I applaud the people at Kentucky Fried Chicken because their commercial, they are innovating still. I feel like Kentucky Fried Chicken and Taco Bell are the only two places that are still really trying to find new ways, new recipes, and new innovative things to get either Mexican food or fried chicken and stuff. I'm watching the NCAA tournament, as I'm sure you guys are, and I'm seeing an ad for Kentucky Fried Chicken where they're selling pizza, and instead of dough, it's fried chicken.
What?
Tip of the cap to these people. And they are sitting around smoking a lot of ganj and being like, how can we get fried chicken into more food? And I applaud that. They had Kentucky Fried Chicken once did a chicken sandwich where the bread was chicken.
The double down. Never forget it.
I mean, that kind of brilliance and innovation is what's lacking in the food service industry right now. We saw the story the other day that McDonald's is going to start putting Krispy Kremes.
That's not good.
And
That's not good for me on the road. It's stopping at McDonald's for a coffee, and it's going to be sitting there for me.
Well, going to be honest, I got to go to the experts on this one. That it was Sean Marash who tweeted, it's going to be a Whopper with the Krispy Kremes as the bread soon. And I was like, man, I wouldn't have gone there. But that's coming. Marash is right about that. And only his mind really would have gone there.
Am I weird that I can't eat beef at a fast food restaurant? I don't trust it. So I haven't had a burger from McDonald's. Now I'll have it like Five Guys or like Shake Shack. That's a little, I think, more upscale fast food. But like a Burger King or whatever, I can't do a burger.
So you get chicken.
Yeah, every time.
Well, I think the problem.
I'm not a good idea.
Good luck making that math work in your brain. But have fun with that.
But here's the thing I think the issue is not where the meat comes from. It's now we realize all that white bread that comes with it. There's a little hamburger patty and you're eating a giant loaf of bread with that. And I think that's why you don't get the hamburger, I thought. That's why I don't get it.
Because the carbs?
Yeah. Then did you see the movie?
Problem.
Did you see the movie The Killer where with Michael Fassbender that was on Netflix? This guy is a high protein, really svelte assassin. And he goes to McDonald's and orders 10 hamburgers, takes off all the bread and just has the patties. And I see people do that all the time now.
Yeah. See, this is my thing. If you're going to go to Mickey D's or whatever, just get what you're going to get. You're making a decision. I'm doing this today. Just eat it.
I don't know. There's 600 calories in a Big Mac. I don't know.
I don't think that's the top of mind for most people when they pull into the drive-thru.
I think it is. I think that's why you've seen the fast food industry change so much. Is some people like that, but a lot of people like the Chipotles of the world where you can. I mean, do you go to McDonald's to get a Big Mac and a shake?
But here's the thing. I'm more of a Wendy's person, but when I do go to Wendy's and I need to scratch the itch of that craving, I just go for it.
Right.
If I'm going to go there and I'm going to say man, I'm really in the mood for, a double stack or whatever, I want to go there, get the whole thing, scratch the itch, and then I can move on with my life.
There's a lot of cop-outs. I'll get a bacon, egg, and cheese on a wheat bagel as if that's really changing the dynamic of the thing. To me, always, I'll have the extra value meal, supersize it with a Diet Coke. Just don't, just get a Coke.
Yeah.
People criticize
you're
that.
saving 1/8 of the negativity of the visit. Just go all in.
I've heard that a lot before, but Diet Coke tastes good anyway.
See, I think it tastes. I'd rather drink sewer water.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So to
our
me,
next challenge.
Yeah, if you're doing it just to be because it says Diet Coke, you're doing it wrong. And if you like the taste of Diet Coke, that's another problem that we'll address in a separate show.
Well, it's been kind of revealed that Diet Coke doesn't even actually work. So I still think it's the best-selling soda in America or close to it.
Ugh.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. But the reality, I can't go if it was up to me and I was just gonna go all out. I'd go eat 3 McGriddle sandwiches a day.
Well, that's just your preference.
Oh yeah, I still haven't had the McGriddle, by the way.
Well, Raising Cane's first.
Yeah, we got a lot to get to here.
And speaking of Raising Cane's, I'm on their who we are page on their website, and you search words. The word fried does not appear on the page describing what they are, where they came from. So it's chicken fingers. Not saying it's wrong. It is fried chicken by the way it's cooked, but they don't even use the word fried chicken to describe what they're selling.
I mean, they're known for their sauce too. Like they have a different jam going on.
Yeah, but it just says it's chicken fingers, chicken fingers, chicken fingers. They don't even use the word fried. Like we fried the chicken.
It's a marketing tool.
Yeah,
They
it's just
don't wanna
not
put
there.
fried in there. We got headlines, yes?
Last night, game 64 for Victor Wembanyama. That ankle issue that kept him out of the Spurs' last game was nothing. So just one more GP, and he can officially win Rookie of the Year. So buy your beef jerky, gas up the Tercel. Wemby, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 blocks in another San Antonio win, 118-111 in Utah. In Orlando, Draymond Green played 3 minutes and 36 seconds, but then...
From a very reliable source, there was a very heated conversation between
Draymond and an official.
to the point where it was a little awkward.
So awkward, so sultry that Draymond got ejected, at least for last
Brilliant.
night.
You know, when we come in and Colleen Wolfe is your screensaver, we're going to have to call somebody, okay? We're going to alert Colleen that she should stay 50 feet away from you at all times.
I'm gonna ring right now, I think.
I did notice that I think she's hosting Good Morning Football this
She
morning,
is,
so
yeah.
she's really close to us right now.
That's right.
Well, we might
Anywho.
have to reach out to her and tell her to look over her shoulder.
To work from Philadelphia, go back
Just
to
monitoring
LA
the
as soon as
programming.
possible.
Yeah, Colleen, sorry we made it weird.
But back to the Warriors. So no Draymond. They'd have Steph for the final few minutes.
We need him. He knows that. We all know that. So whatever it takes to keep him on the floor, he'll be available. That's what's got to happen.
Steph might like Draymond there long-term, bigger picture, but he was not happy with him last night. He scored 17 in a 101-93 win. His Warriors stay 10th in the West, a game up on the Rockets, who extended their win streak to 10, 132-126 in OT in OKC. LeBron was back for the Lakers last night, 23 points, 14 rebounds, 12 assists in a 136-124 win in Memphis. And the Knicks hammered the Raptors in Toronto, 145-101. The Raptors, the second team ever with 2 40-point home losses in a calendar month, despite a career-high 23 points last night from Grady Dick Bridges. Now, because...
Wait, how many people hit the under on their props, though?
Ooh,
Bigger question.
Probably
with
not
the
in that game.
Raptors.
143 to 1, whatever. Probably not. I was looking up that Nick roster trying to find a name to match
There isn't
Grady
one.
Dick and I know Dick Bridges was apparently a stretch for some people on the show.
Yeah,
I couldn't even find a stretch for the Knicks. It was hard. I was so disappointed.
I know. I was hoping that some universe Precious Achua wore Precious on his back,
right?
As opposed to Achua.
In the 1970s in the ABA, when guys had nicknames on the back of their jersey, like he probably would have been Precious on the back of his jersey.
Yeah, that would have been perfect. That might have been the winner.
Yeah, that'd be the one.
Wait, yeah, Josh Hart. Did you mention Josh Hart?
I thought about Hart. It just Hart Dick. I don't know.
Yeah,
it didn't.
It's
didn't go for
it's
me.
the closest one,
It's the
but it
closest
doesn't
one.
work.
It's close. But
If you had an I in there, then it'd be, I don't know. Obviously.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I was just going to make a joke, but he's a real person. Wasn't there an assistant named Dick Harter on the Bulls?
Feels like an old
In the
school NBA
90s?
coach,
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I'll
so.
tell you what, that's not. I saw how you pronounce that name just to take you behind the curtain. Bogusch was surgical and how he got that name out. There's another name. I remember doing a play-by-play back in my play-by-play days, and the coach's name of the women's basketball program at Towson University was Mike Hunt.
Yeah, that's not acceptable.
Wait, is it
It'll
really
come to
the
you.
name,
Hold
or did
on.
somebody call in and say,
No.
was that a prank call, or was that really
It
happening?
was really his name. He was the head coach of the women's basketball team at Towson University when I was at GW.
Wow.
Good luck with that one, everyone.
Say his full name.
I just say coach.
I had a teammate in high school football whose last name was Butt, B-U-T-T. We need to get a Butt in the NBA and then get him to take a picture with.
I worked with the
Grady
guy.
Day.
I worked with the guy's last name was Butts.
Yeah, there was a
Great sense of humor because you have to,
But his was literally Butt, B-U-T-T.
Like Jake Butt.
Yes, like
The
Jake
tight
Butt,
end.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's get him an NBA jersey. Let's get him a roster spot.
First name Seymour.
By the way, this is a little bit different in terms of the humor, but you've seen the Ohtani Mookie Betts jerseys back to back.
Yep.
So he's standing next and it's Ohtani Betts.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
Not perfect for this particular moment for Shohei Ohtani and the particular scandal that he's facing.
Oh, I saw the tweet that said Shohei to Ipe. No, I said Mookie Betts.
right. Not make my bets.
Not sports bets.
Oh, I was a little slow on that one. I said Mookie. Got it.
Because of rainouts for the Phillies and Mets, the first game of opening day not until 3 Eastern today. Angels, Orioles in Baltimore. The world champion Rangers host the Cubs 7:30 tonight. The Capitals and Wizards are not leaving Washington, D.C. after all. An arena plan for Alexandria, Virginia died in the state's General Assembly, so owner Ted Leonsis quickly announced plans for arena renovations in D.C. last night. And we mentioned Travis and Taylor Swift last hour for Hard Knocks. We also need a TV landing spot for Jason Kelce, the retired Eagle center, apparently in ESPN's crosshairs for their Monday night football coverage.
Bilotti, not a fan. Why?
You have an emergency over there?
Do you need to run to the bathroom?
No, what are they doing at ESPN?
They're doing what they do.
Oh, my goodness. I don't want to watch anything on that network because unless it's Stephen A. Smith, Chris Russo, or Aikman and Buck.
Russo, he's a
leave me alone.
part-timer.
I don't want to see anybody on that network. It's nowhere near what it used to be, and it's really getting aggravating hearing all these names that come up in conversations about ESPN. Oh,
like,
woof.
I don't understand. Jason,
offends
is
you
it because
from
you hate
ESPN?
Jason Kelce?
All of them.
Doesn't.
None of them are entertaining me, as far as I'm concerned.
You were doing so well, too. The week began with you saying, you know what? I'm good on Zach Wilson. I'll get back to you in September if he's still here.
What? It's my
and now you're
opinion.
mad at Jason Kelce being on a show that you're not going to watch.
If they entertain me better, I would watch it. I don't watch it. I only watch for games and for those two commentators. That's it. I'm sorry. That's how it is. I mean,
I'm going to call BS on you. I bet you watch Jay Billis. I bet you get
fine.
college basketball information
Fine.
from Billis.
Fine.
Wait, Pipilotti? I don't get it.
No, I'm just saying. I think that Billis.
There's no way Pipilotti watches Jay Billis.
I think
there's
everyone
zero.
gets their college stuff from Billis.
I like Billis, but I don't watch them.
Oh, okay.
I just think they've not hit the mark for a while on ESPN.
Well, my question is, we talked about it before, like the idea of putting Jason Kelce in a suit feels
on a
weird.
set.
And it almost sounds like this is what this is going to be.
Was it the pregame show, right?
Right, yeah, pregame show, what they're talking about, unless they're going to do something transformative.
You know what? He'd be a good role. I think Jason Kelce would be a good. Remember when Tony Saragusa, Goose, used to be on the sideline in like a leather jacket and his hat, and he would be like a roving sideline reporter that wasn't as, you know, like,
He also did like almost color on the
He
game.
did color on the
kind
game,
of.
yeah.
Right. I think they tried in some way to do this with Booger McFarland
Yeah, that
at one
Booger
point.
Mobile where he was like outside. That was
Yeah,
that
R.I.P.
didn't
the
go
Booger
well.
Mobile. But
Yeah,
I'm
Kelce be
surprised
a
that
much
didn't
better
work.
fit for that. I
have
agree.
Kelce
That's
do
a great
that.
idea.
Don't put him in a suit having talking 30-second sound bites.
But
Don't
the
ask him
basic-
to do that.
I think what you're getting at, Blythe, there's no bigger difference between the TNT studio show and the ESPN NBA studio show. It's so embarrassing for ESPN
Yeah.
to have the entertainment value of Charles and Shaq, and then to me, the NFL is just as boring. I'm with Pete. Like, I never watch the Monday Night Crew. I maybe after the game I'll tune in, but they are. I think ESPN likes this stuff being forgotten. They don't want to be too radical, right?
Am I crazy
Yeah.
also to think, and shout out to everybody does pregame shows. I know they're all working hard, but like I have a tough time. Well, already.
Yeah, that was a nice disclaimer.
I
That
know.
was
There you
no
go.
offense, but
No, but I'm saying
go
no,
ahead.
Trash it now.
At the same time, I feel like maybe it's because of just my orbit, and maybe just because we're all so our attention span is so short. I don't have time to really sit around for a pregame show. Period. Like the thing I hate the most is going to Monday Night Football doesn't do that much, but NBA happens, and sometimes they do those special presentations on Saturday football games for NFL games where game starts at 8 o'clock or 8:30. And it's like, actually, no. And then you have a countdown clock at 8:30, 15 minutes to kickoff or 15 minutes to tip. I'm like, no, don't trick me into watching more pregame show. I don't have time for it.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's just to sell commercials.
Yeah,
That's the
I was
whole
gonna say,
thing.
this is
That's why they're long.
The entire reason, to pull back the curtain, the entire reason why pregame shows exist is to sell advertising.
Mhm.
So I think when you think about it in that vein, maybe you lower the bar a little bit.
But even like last night, I was watching Clippers Sixers at like 7:32, and I thought I was going to get tip off imminently. And they're going back to the studio. That game didn't tip off until 7:45. Listed 7:30. It's a Wednesday night in March.
I know.
Like, you don't need to oversell me on that one. Just get me Mike Breen, whoever else, and let's go. Let's play.
That's another guy, Mike Breen. Another guy.
We'll
That
watch
what?
for Mike Breen.
Yes.
Good or bad?
Good.
Coach Mike, my
Yeah.
former coach.
I know.
But is that so? The deals are still up. Their NBA deal with ESPN is up soon, right?
Yeah, the NBA
Yeah.
is going to sign a new deal with probably a few different spots.
Oh, I hope
ESPN, streaming services.
get NBC back involved, please. I mean, let's get some other people.
I don't think you're
ESPN.
getting your Costas
Get round
days
ball
again.
rock back, baby.
please,
Let's go.
yeah,
Matt
something.
Guokas is busy.
I know.
Yeah,
They
I don't
put
think
round
you-
ball rock now on college games. It doesn't sound the same.
Nope.
It's weird.
And in fact, it's on Fox also.
Oh,
makes
Fox.
it-
I'm sorry. Fox
yeah,
uses
Fox
round ball
uses
rock.
it. That also
Pardon me.
throws it off a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting your Saturday afternoon big NBA game. That's never coming back.
I can't get
Steve.
Ahmad Rashad doing NBA.
Oh.
Not unless
stuff.
Michael Jordan loses 70 pounds in 20 years. That's never happening.
Thursday.
Or we have time travel.
Can we
And
get
take you
Willow
back.
Bay?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, reason why I
All
want to
right.
be a broadcaster.
Willow Bay.
And Summer Sanders.
I love
Summer
that
Sanders,
show.
the GOAT.
That was always 11 a.m. and then you had your pregame show for the NBA at noon.
Yep. That was elite television.
I mean, listen, I find it annoying to go out of an Amazon app back to cable now for football. You think I'm going to do that for an NBA game? Oh, my God, this could be a mess.
I can't believe this all started with Pete being so disgusted that ESPN may be
Well, I thought
trying
he
to
was I thought he was having a medical
hire
emergency.
Jason Kelce.
Look.
The most obvious thing that was ever going to happen in the history of media.
You want a project? Put me on revitalizing ESPN, and you'll get some.
I don't know. I
I'll tell
heard
you
your
that much.
LeBron podcast ideas. No thanks.
The 12-step plan.
The new name should be and they're
Pilates
wasting
like
good
leading
bottles
Sports
of,
Center with wrestling.
wasting good bottles
And Tina
of wine
Turner,
on
no
that
thanks.
podcast. Wasting good bottles of wine on that podcast. The whiners, that's what I call them.
The Widers Pod. Listen, if you're going to talk inverted pick and rolls, you better be 3 bottles deep.
Yeah.
I better
learned
be 3
something.
bottles deep.
I didn't listen to so for people who may not know, LeBron James and JJ Redick launched a podcast where they only talk X's and O's of basketball.
Hold on to your seats.
It's been released to varying reviews.
I saw, as I was walking, I saw a headline at Awful announcing that JJ's not surprised it was a hit. I'm like, nobody is. It's LeBron. How is it not going to be a hit?
You know who's got to be
gosh,
so
that's
ticked
so-
off about this? I was thinking about it. The fact that LeBron James and JJ Redick have a podcast where they strictly talk basketball. You know KD's got to be incensed by this. His whole thing is always, it's all about basketball for me. You guys try to make it about something else. All I want to do is talk basketball. They finally launch a podcast that's only about basketball. Like, no,
Well,
LeBron.
it's crazy because he has his own media company. He could have launched this years ago.
Yeah.
Hasn't he done that?
No, well, he has his KD
Boardroom. It's about business.
Yeah, and then he has another podcast. Forgive me, I don't remember the name, but like I've watched it. It's they don't do what LeBron and JJ are doing. It's not that.
Do you honestly think this thing is going to last? I mean, how many times can they
Hope
talk
not.
about inverted pick and rolls?
Three-
Are they going to
three
run out of
million
plays by the
views?
5th podcast?
Yeah, it's going to last until they don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
Which is what, a month?
I don't know. But people like it.
It's LeBron James, to quote Bogusch.
The
But that's
clip that
like-
I posted
that's
yesterday I
so-
thought was interesting to me. Sorry. Wine or not.
Have fun.
Inverted pick
By
and
the way,
roll.
JJ looked like he was feeling the wine yesterday.
I didn't see the
little
they
flushed.
They had to because this is it's the same shoot from the last one.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
it's
they
part
were.
2.
Yeah, this is
so
part
they
two.
were
This is-
into more of the wine.
Yeah,
at
this
that
is
point.
hour 3 in the wine. So you know what happens then.
Now, what they should add is Amari Stoudemire on that podcast.
He takes baths in
and have
wine.
him take the bath while he's
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
the podcast.
Sorry, I jumped on your joke.
Great.
The what I would love if they did in this podcast, which they won't do, is take those expensive bottles of wine. Again, this is LeBron James and JJ Redick have a podcast where they talk only X's and O's, deep X's and O's basketball, and they do it while drinking extremely expensive bottles of wine. Let's do the blind taste test and get these bougie, fancy schmancy bottles of shrim that no one can pronounce and put some Franzia next to it and put a $12 bottle of wine that you get at any old store, and let's see if they can tell the difference.
Yeah, no way.
I bet no way.
Yeah, what's a famous one? They did a test with Charles Shaw, Trader Joe's famous wine, and
the $2 chuck.
They fooled like 9 out of 13 elite wine critics. You think the elite wine critics? Yeah, actually, honestly, it's the wine. That's my major problem. I don't even care. I can't get past that. I don't care how brilliant their basketball analysis. Why? The fact that they're bragging about their red wine because they're athletes. I don't know. I admit I'm not into this wine thing. I'm like, I don't know.
So if they were drinking Gatorade,
drink whiskey.
Perloff's complaining about the wine. Pete's complaining about the whining.
Yeah.
Well,
you two should team up and do a podcast.
I just think there are certain things that you drink and you brag about. I am not up with this wine thing. Like if I go to a bar, I don't drink, but my friend orders a margarita, I'm out. I don't even want to be there with him anymore.
Oh, this is getting into something a little different. We'll have to do
it's
this.
The same thing.
Later.
Wine is way too soft to drink for pro athletes. Like you think football players are sitting there drinking wine and talking about X's and O's? No way. That's beer.
Was Peyton chugging things on the Manning cast?
No, but if he was, Peyton has a Bud Light commercial. I mean,
but you think
beer.
he's drinking Bud Light or he's drinking wine on a Monday night in his house?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait on the answer to that. Coming up, we get to Jordan Love. What he had to say about the Packers in 2024. We'll do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. You know, it's a story we've been wanting to get to, and let's do it because Jordan Love was on the Pivot podcast. He's got big goals for 2024.
Yeah, it's a great feeling, man. We're all very hungry for this upcoming year, but like you said, man, the confidence from top to bottom is there. The organization believes that it's the perfect time to have a chance to win a Super Bowl this year. And those conversations we had after that 49ers game were, man, like, work harder. Try and find ways to get better because next year we're going to do it. There's no more we're a young team. There's no more of those what-ifs. Like, people know what we're about now, and obviously, we'll have that target on our back. People are going to want to beat us. So, we're hungry.
All right. I mean, really putting the lofty goals out there, and I can understand why they'd have the confidence because of how they played in the postseason and down the stretch, finishing the season 6-2 and then getting to the second round of the playoffs. But Perloff, I mean, we really only have about a half a season of awesome Jordan Love. The first 8-9 games of the year, he was only completing 58% of his passes, 14 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. It was still dicey for Love for the first half of the season. Now you get a good second half and one big playoff win against the Cowboys, and it's Super Bowl time?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because they still have him on a reasonable deal. They've had a good offseason, and they have a bunch of draft picks coming up. Yeah, they really should have beaten the Niners. I mean, that was – if they beat the Niners, and then I don't know if they beat the Lions, but yeah, they are on a Super Bowl trajectory for sure. And, that's how the NFL's been, these young quarterbacks. I know Jordan Love's technically on a second contract, but that's how it's reasonable at this point. Yeah, it's kind of now or never for them, too, because eventually they're going to have to pay Jordan Love huge money and not have this roster around them. So I think this is exactly where they're headed.
Well, the now or never, they're probably going to extend him before the season starts. So, yes, he'll go into this season, and then I bet the big deal kicks in right after this year. I always hesitate just a tiny bit when you have teams that, take a step forward. Sometimes they can just continue on. And other times you see it's not always a perfect straight line here. Everyone and their mom is going to be picking the Packers.
Well, the Lions are also there. I mean, the Lions are that's the thing. They're kind of mirror images of each other. Which one do you pick? They're both young, exciting, up-and-coming NFC North teams. So I think they're a little pinned behind Detroit. So I think more people pick Detroit. That Green Bay's right behind them. And by the way, you know who the AFC version? It's like the Houston Texans. Same thing. Young, up-and-coming team.
Is anyone going to say a Packers-Texans Super Bowl?
Oh, sure. I mean, I think because of this formula of the young quarterback. I think the young, inexpensive quarterback, Joe Burrow made it in Cincinnati. Why can't Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud? I mean, Jared Goff's a different situation. But, yeah, I think you're going to see I'm leaning Lions-Texans. Why not? You got to sound interesting, too. You can't just do Chiefs-Niners.
Well, the Lions now is not a big stretch. They made it to the championship game.
Where do you think the Packers
and had
are?
a 21-point lead or whatever.
But I don't think the Packers are a big stretch, too. They're similar to the Lions because the Packers had the Niners beat. They were ahead, got really rainy at the end. I think they're right there, 5th or 6th in odds, probably, I would imagine. I think it's. Do you not put Super Bowl expectations on them?
Forgive me, I want to wait on this one. I do want to wait.
Can't wait too long because then you're going to have to be paying $200 million for Jordan Love. It's going to be harder.
Yeah, 855-212 for CBS. Quickly, Bill's in California. Bill, got about 15 seconds here. You had a thought about fast food burgers, a conversation we had earlier in the show?
Yeah, well, just to let you guys know, I'm in that. I go to the auctions all the time. Every fast food restaurant out there goes to the auctions. They buy all the old dairy cows that come to there for pennies on the dollar. That's how they get all their value menu burgers. They just grind those things down. That's what they get. And when you go to a place and they say, oh, it's 100% Angus or whatever, all they do is they mix some Angus in with that, and they can call it that. So
wow. Bill, you're giving us an education today. Bill, thank you. And good morning to everybody. If you are thinking about fast food meat. Coming up, is there a quarterback who could knock Caleb Williams out of number 1?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's been on the TB12 method since he was 6. She's on her 3rd scotch. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Well, look out, Caleb Williams. Jayden Daniels' pro day yesterday had people talking. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Perloff, Caleb Williams is the presumed number 1 overall pick. Bears seem like they're in love. However, you got to pay attention because Jayden Daniels is the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. Fantastic talent. I know you're super high on Jayden Daniels.
Love Jayden Daniels.
And you're not the only one. So here was Louis Riddick, who was talking on ESPN Radio yesterday, who was at Jayden Daniels' pro day. And Louis Riddick is not just a talking head, a former front office executive who is tasked with scouting talent for NFL teams.
Jayden Daniels, there's no question that he is in the mix still, regardless of what you hear, to be the number 1 quarterback taken and maybe the first player overall. This is a young man who has athleticism. He has the power to drive the football. He has the touch and accuracy to throw the football at all 3 levels of the football field. And to boot, he is a fantastic young man when you talk to him, which is something that all franchise quarterbacks have to be.
Okay, so that was Louis Riddick, and he was blown away by Jayden Daniels' pro day. And listen, he's a professional here. So, and again, he's been in a front office, so he knows that pro days are set up to make quarterbacks look good. He understands that, you always run the fastest at your pro day, and you always look the best at your pro day. And I think he is clearly intelligent enough to see through the home field advantage that you get of being at your home school. And he's still saying that he should be in the mix for the number 1 overall pick. That seems crazy to me.
Well, actually, he didn't say should. He said he is.
He is, right.
Which is surprising to me because I heard Matt Eberflus, the Bears coach, at the owners' meeting talk about how they're already working on install with Caleb Williams. So that's why I can't take that seriously, because the Bears are telling you without telling you they're taking Caleb Williams. Now, here's the thing. It was a 20-minute workout yesterday. I think Riddick is obviously an experienced guy. He was going off the tape, and the tape is insane with Jayden Daniels. In any other year, to me, he's a surefire number 1 pick, but not this year.
Right.
Caleb Williams is so special. It's unbelievable that there's no way the Bears could do that. I don't think that's a real thing. Now, the big question is Jayden Daniels definitely number 2. You have Drake May and J.J. McCarthy now floating around. There was this report the other day that the Washington really likes J.J. McCarthy.
And they're picking second.
I don't buy it. I think the fact that Jayden Daniels, one thing that mattered is pro day, he weighed 210 pounds. And that's good enough. 6'3", 210. The only worry about him is he's too small, can't last in the NFL. 210 is fine. And he could put on weight from there, just like Lamar Jackson did. I think Jayden Daniels is everything. I think Washington fans, if they get him, should be so excited.
All right, so if you and I are not exactly buying that the Bears are going to reverse course here and go away from Caleb Williams and go to Jayden Daniels, who do you think is going to have the better rookie season? Because I'll tell you, I think it's going to be Caleb. If Caleb goes to the Bears and Jayden Daniels goes number 2 to the Washington Commanders, I think Caleb Williams is set up really, really well. Now, the division is not easy. In the NFC North, you're going to have some major contenders with the Lions and the Packers. We'll see what happens with the Vikings. But I think this Chicago team, I'm not a huge fan of the coach, but I'm a big fan of the roster. And I think they have the type of weapons on offense and the type of stifling defense that are all the things that can help a rookie quarterback shine. And I think Caleb Williams is going to look really good straight away.
Well,
for that reason.
One thing about the division, you might get some shootouts because Detroit scores a lot, Minnesota can score a lot, so maybe Caleb gets better numbers. Where Jayden Daniels is going to probably have a much easier schedule in the NFC East. But man, I love his weapons. He's got. I mean, look at this. They got Austin Eckler in the offseason, who's the ultimate screen weapon. They got Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. Love that. And they signed Zach Ertz. Fine. Good safety valve. He's fine. I mean,
he's a little old.
But I love McLaurin and Dotson. I think that's better than DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and maybe a rookie there in Chicago.
Oh, disagree.
I mean, Keenan Allen.
McLaurin is really good. I'll give you that. But, I mean, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. If Keenan Allen's healthy, that's awesome.
32-year-old Keenan Allen. I love McLaurin and Dotson. I think they're really good. Also, too, I just think Cliff Kingsbury is going to be a much more wide-open offense coordinator in Washington. Shane Waldron's pretty good. Had great numbers with Geno. But Cliff Kingsbury, not a great head coach. The guy could get some yards on the ground. He turned Kyler Murray into a stats machine. I think he's going to be great with Jayden Daniels. I don't think they win a ton of games, but I think that Jayden Daniels has a very nice rookie season.
You had said a couple weeks ago you thought that Jayden Daniels is going to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
If it is number 2 to the Washington Commanders, you're still on that opinion?
I like that, and I imagine it'll be Caleb will be the favorite, and you can get a little bit of value betting Jayden Daniels. Also, I believe Jayden Daniels is 23. So that gives, he's almost like a veteran. It gives him such a huge advantage right there that kind of like Joe Burrow coming into the league. He's a much more experienced. I mean, listen, you're going to have Penix. Penix, I'd go, honestly, I think Penix has a great chance to be Rookie of the Year too if he could get the starting job. These older guys going to better situations. Chicago's still not a great situation. I know you love DJ Moore and Keenan Allen.
I do.
But you can't ignore the history. You can't ignore the fact that you have a defensive head coach. Guy at Washington does too. But regardless, I just think that you can't all of a sudden assume that Chicago is going to redefine themselves as this electric offense. Does anything in the history of the Chicago Bears say that to you? The monsters of the Midway?
I think this is the new generation. Like this is the stake in the grass moment where they have to change because you can't blow this shot. And nobody is going to blame Caleb Williams if things go poorly in the first year. Everyone else is going to get blamed. So there has to be this 100% investment, and there is, that things are going to be set up really perfectly for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he will take care of the rest. You know, we don't come across these like, generational talent. I know people say, the media, you guys overuse this. Do we? Not really. Sometimes we don't call the people who should be generational talents, like Joe Burrow probably is. We probably should have given him that name.
Well, we didn't know.
Right. Let's see about Trevor Lawrence. That story is not done.
Right.
Andrew Luck was really great until he decided to retire and got a lot of injuries and retired.
But generational talent should maybe be withheld for LeBron Jameses of the world, like surefire, real like Hall of Famers.
I think Andrew Luck was on a Hall of Fame track.
Yeah, probably, but he's definitely not one of the Mount Rushmore Hall of Famers of his era.
He hung it up after 6 years.
Yeah, and he never stayed healthy even when he was out there. And Trevor Lawrence certainly doesn't seem like he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory in any way. So, no, I do think the recent track record on generational is not great. I think Caleb is a better prospect than Trevor. Because Trevor, remember we talked to Greg Cosell at one point, and he's a long strider. He's a really good quarterback. Caleb is the new breed. He's Patrick Mahomes. Whereas Trevor Lawrence feels old school to me. Oops. Sorry, that's my parking alarm there.
855-212-4CBS.
Feed the meter.
So we're talking about the fantastic pro day yesterday from Jayden Daniels and how it made at least one former front office executive and Louis Riddick go on ESPN radio yesterday and say Jayden Daniels is still in the mix for the number 1 overall pick. Like this hasn't all been written yet that it's going to be Caleb Williams. Going to respectfully disagree that that's the way it should be. And maybe I'll get proven wrong here, but I think the order is correct. I think Caleb and then Jayden Daniels is the correct order. Now, after that, as far as how they're going to pan out, after that, I think it's probably going to be, if we're talking about who's going to actually have the best career after that, I think it's Penix if he's healthy. So if we're going in terms of like talent and who I want to see and how successful I think they're going to be, I think it's going to be Caleb, Jayden, and then Penix. I'm sorry about the J.J. McCarthy. I can't get there yet.
I think where we really disagree is I think there's 4 hits in this first round. Yeah. I think
never works that way.
Definitely have one with Caleb. Yeah, well, it has worked that way. I mean, what was the Baker, Josh Allen, Lamar was three hits. I mean,
you think Baker has lived up to being the number 1 overall pick?
Maybe not, but generally though, at least you get 3 Pro Bowl level quarterbacks, guys who can at least make the Pro Bowl. I think you're getting a big hit with Caleb. You're getting a big hit with Jayden. I agree. I love Penix. I think he's going to be hit, and I think Drake May has a great chance to be a big hit. I think we're forgetting about him. His pro day is today. Wait till tomorrow. We come in with all the Drake May hype. The one I don't get is J.J. McCarthy. I don't understand that at all. And then Bo Nix, by the way. Bo Nix gets hooked up with Sean Payton. I mean, I think he's going to have really good numbers too. I think it's going to be one of the great quarterback classes. I think we're talking, it's stretch to say 83, the John Elway draft. But I tell you, I think Caleb's going to be a star and Jayden's a star. So it's going to be one of the top 5 quarterback classes of all time. I don't even think that's a stretch. There aren't that many great quarterback classes. Usually it's spread out. We're probably going to have a record number taken in the top 10. It's coming, Maggie.
There's also some stakes on this show, as we like to up the ante around here. On the first round, this is a Perloff versus EJ bet that if more than 4.5 quarterbacks go in the first round, then EJ loses. If fewer than 4.5 quarterbacks go in the first round, Perloff loses. The loser has to run gassers with Pete Bellotti holding the whistle.
Get him up.
Do you realize, you guys, we're talking about eating Raising Cane's because we're finally all going to eat Raising Cane's tomorrow because they opened up a place in New York. Don't eat the Raising Cane's before Pete Bellotti puts you on the gassers. You guys are going to be puking your guts out.
No, it's going to be all water. It's going to be all water. That's it. Just water. Just stay hydrated.
Even that could cause problems. By the way, there are a lot of mock drafts coming out with a lot of quarterbacks on there, EJ. Does it make you nervous?
I mean, I feel like if we did odds on them, you probably have the favorite odds.
Yeah, there is odds. It's set at 4.5, and it's minus 260 now.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely in the driver's seat, but I'm not moving. I feel good. I still feel like the Penix and someone taking the flyer on Penix and Bo Nix in the first round. I gotta see him do it.
So Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Network, just came out with a mock draft, and he got 5 in there. He put Penix at 13 to the Raiders, but he dropped Bo Nix out, which makes me nervous.
A lot. I'm seeing. It's rare I'm seeing the 6 number, which that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
If I started seeing 6 all the time, I'd be like, I'm cooked.
But here's what makes me
only 5.
But here's what makes me feel good. Everybody's talking about, well, we got to get Bo Nix in the second round. So if 20 teams want Bo Nix in the second round,
someone's going to trade up into the first.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah. I'm hoping.
Quarterbacks always get moved up. And again, we're talking about the LSU Pro Day yesterday. Jayden Daniels shows out, and it led at least one former front office executive in Louis Riddick to say he's still in the mix for the number 1 overall pick. That's how impressive he was. Got us talking about how many quarterbacks, will be taken in the first round of the draft.
I remember I was watching LSU Ole Miss, a 51-49 game. Great shootout. Jayden Daniels, shredding Ole Miss doesn't prove anything. But in the middle of the game, Dusty Dvorak, the college football announcer, said he's talked to people around college football that Jayden Daniels is the best player in the sport, and he is the number 1 NFL prospect. He said this in September. Nobody had Jayden Daniels in the first 3 rounds of any mock, but it was iPod. The Alabama game, to me, the one he got hurt. Have you ever seen anybody do that to Alabama, what he was doing? He's more generational in some senses. The fact that he has this running ability and this passing ability. He's like Lamar Jackson with a more traditional throwing style than Lamar Jackson. It's all there. I'm not sure what the downside is. So Louis Riddick does make interesting points.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you think about this. If Jayden Daniels, let's keep it to the rookie year for now. I want to do career, but I'll keep it rookie for now. If he outplays Caleb Williams next season, is that a disappointment for Caleb Williams?
So I would go, because of what Maggie said, RG3 outplayed Andrew Luck his rookie season. Nobody was disappointed in Andrew Luck. And last year was a little different. CJ Stroud outplayed Bryce Young, but Bryce Young was terrible. But I think you could be okay. I think they're both good, and Caleb shows nice signs. I don't think they're going to compare the two.
Huge disappointment. Huge.
Was Luck a disappointment?
No, well, Luck ended up having the better career because Washington ruined RG3.
But you're talking about 1 year. RG3 was way better than Luck his rookie year. RG3 was one of the best quarterbacks in the league instantly.
Oh, I know. I think that it will be bad for Caleb. Yeah. I mean, listen, if Caleb, I think it's, here's why. Because, like, Bryce Young didn't play well. He also went to a terrible team. Caleb Williams is not going to a terrible team.
Oh, no.
He is not. It's
He's
just
going to
a
the
fact.
Bears. Nobody expects a Bears quarterback to do anything. The bar is somewhat low because of that team.
Oh, I don't think so. They made the moves. The Keenan Allen, whatever you think about them, they did make the moves. The Keenan Allen, the trade last year for Sweat totally changed their defense. The re-signing of the Jalen Johnson, like they have made moves, the Bears have. This is not your typical crappy coming off a 3-win season that you get the number 1 overall pick team. So, yeah, I think that there's expectations right away. And if Jayden Daniels massively outplays Caleb Williams, definitely it's going to be a disappointment.
Well, what about just outplays?
What are we talking about?
Well, let's say that Jayden Daniels has a C.J. Stroud-like year, and then let's say Caleb Williams throws 20 touchdowns, 13 picks, and 4,000 yards. Then people are going to see growth. I disagree with the expectations. I mean, Justin Fields is like the 4th leading passer in Bears history. There's no history going on. They've been the worst passing offense in the league for a long, long time. To all of a sudden expect them to be the Chiefs next year, that seems ridiculous to me.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. You're welcome to weigh in on this. Coming up, changes afoot for LeBron James and Bronny. Get to that next. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh my gosh, there's so much going on in sports. Opening day, NCAA tournament, NBA playoff race, NHL playoffs. But we have to talk one-hit wonders. Maggie, the Maggie and Perloff one-hit wonder bracket, it is getting heated. By the way, I just doing some math. We're a little behind because they're going to have the Final Four in basketball soon enough, and we are still in the round of 32. But yeah, has anyone figured out how we're going to catch up?
Well, it's going to take a lot of effort. So let's get it started. So EJ, this is the cruising region, the Maggie and Perloff bracket of one-hit wonders. These are now the results of who has punched their ticket to the Sweet 16?
Correct.
Okay, so these are the results as voted on by you. Who moves on to the Sweet 16 in the Maggie and Perloff bracket of one-hit wonders, cruising region? Let's do it. Number 1 seed in this region moves on. It's Take On Me. And maybe just to annoy Perloff, 4th seeded Don't You Forget About Me wins over Electric Avenue.
Forget about me. Don't you forget about me.
I mean, it's a great song. That's why it's going to get voted ahead. But it's not a one-hit wonder. It's a couple songs on there. I mean, you're discounting Chris Cross's second song, too? This is a crime, Maggie.
Do you realize the more frustrated you get by this, the more likely that it continues to move on?
I do love
it. One-hit winner will not actually be a one-hit wonder.
I do love the song.
It's a great song.
Yeah, I mean, it makes all these songs make you happy. What's next?
Okay, next is moving on to the Maggie and Perloff region of bracket of one-hit wonders in the cruising region. 14 seed gets through to the Sweet 16. It's Video Killed the Radio. And finally, major Cinderella in this region. 15 seed, Stacy's mom to the Sweet 16. I just can't get over how stupid a band name is, Fountains of Wayne. It's such a dumb band name. Anyway, there you go. That's the songs who have punched their ticket to the Sweet 16 of the Maggie and Perloff one-hit wonder bracket.
But the other bands in this bracket are the Buggles. It's not exactly great. Aha. The Norwegian band Aha. Simple Minds is kind of a pretty cool name, I guess.
I think part of being a one-hit wonder, you just have to have a terrible band name.
Like Soft Cell or Tommy Two Tone for 8675309.
That's
Cali
part of
Swag
it.
District.
definitely no one can know the name of your band and to be a one-hit wonder. And then when they find out, then you have to be like, that's so dumb.
I've already forgotten half the names in this band. Who sang Funky Town? It was like Lips Incorporated or something?
Such a shame that Funky Town went out so early.
Closing time.
It's the Kentucky of this
I
tournament.
have a question for you guys on music. I'm asking a lot of questions today. If you were a musician, would you rather have a one-hit wonder that is completely, utterly timeless, like a Gangnam Style, or would you rather be a respected artist with a lot of albums, but you never had a hit?
Right, your favorite artist.
Yes.
Right, that like a respected musician, but never got a hit, or a one-hit wonder.
Yes.
How about you go sort of in between where you have a one-hit wonder like Simple Minds and Don't You Forget About Me, and then you have 8 other top 10 singles make tons of money.
This is not about arguing with the committee. It's a serious question here.
So here's why I would rather have the catalog of music and not the one-hit wonder. I bet a lot of these artists who have this one-hit wonder, they probably don't even own the rights to this music. So not only do they have to play it all the time, and they're basically a prisoner of this one song, I bet they don't even own it.
No. The one-hit wonder is terrible because if you're playing in concert, there's so much pressure to play that song. Like, if you're the Baha Men, the first 10 songs, the audience is going to be so bored. They're like, please play Who Let the Dogs Out. But once you play it, what's the rest of the concert? Do you open with Who Let the Dogs Out? Do you close with Who Let the Dog Out? Do you do both? Play it in between? This is an impossible situation.
I think you play it twice. I think you're right. I think you play it or maybe like tease it a little when you're coming out and play like the first couple chords or something. And then you do your other stuff and then you close with it.
When you're the Baha Men and you get out and do, we have some new stuff. I would just walk out. If the Baha Men, and are they other dog-themed songs? What's going on here? No, I think it's hard to be a one-hit wonder.
Who brought the dogs in?
Yeah, right.
Which would you rather be,
Who fed
Maggie?
the dogs?
Who
Who
fed
groomed
the
the
dogs?
dogs? Yeah.
Whose dog is this?
Woof Woof. The name of the album.
Featuring Snoop Dogg, the remix.
Snoop would do it because he has never turned down an appearance.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing that would upset, the thing where I'm curious about maybe being the one-hit wonder is because I feel like I keep seeing these people get invited to these random, like, Saudi Arabia parties or someone's wedding where this is their favorite song and they get paid $3 million for a night. Whereas if I'm that person who grinded all my career and I got a great catalog of music but no hits, and like
you're doing this so you could be Nelly at an insurance convention? Is that what's going on here?
No, he's not a one-hit wonder. But
yeah, he plays that circuit.
No,
he was at my friend's corporate event the other day.
And a lot of those people, I know Vanilla Ice has definitely done that.
Yeah.
He's been in that presidential inauguration celebrations. Like, that's a thing. That's a market that, even the respected artist who has 10 great albums, they don't have that market. And that's one night of work.
Yeah. I don't know if you're getting $3 million. I know that I think you can get like certain rap bands for like $5,000. I don't think it's that much, but you're right. You could keep working just off of that one song. As opposed to having to still tour and travel around. And it's like, oh, now it's another night I'm doing the Omaha, Iowa, circuits, Midwest circuit. Then I do the Northeast circuit. I'm never home.
But the non-one-hit wonder also could play these events, I would imagine. But can we get Sir Mix-a-Lot? How much does he cost? That would be amazing, assuming he's still with us.
I bet not a lot. Who did our boss Spike Eskin? Should we text him? Our boss Spike Eskin said for Wing Bowl one time in Philly, they got like how did they
did say? I remember this story. I was there for that.
Right. Who was it for $5,000?
Yeah.
It was.
But didn't they not show up or something, or they got upset?
It was Coolio.
Okay.
Coolio.
Yeah, Coolio, who was, may he rest in peace, and also has more than one hit.
Yeah,
he had Gangster
awesome.
Paradise, and he had Slide, Slippery Slide.
That's called 2 hits, but yes.
Still not a one-hit wonder.
More than one hit mean 2.
And the Keenan and Kel theme.
So he had a couple hits, and he was $5,000.
Sir Mix-a-Lot is listed on Celebrity Talent International. His booking agent, $15,000 to $25,000.
That's a lot.
For Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Okay, so
he's going to come in. He's probably going to do one song.
We're talking about the Maggie and Perloff bracket of one-hit wonders, which you can go to our Twitter handle at Maggie and Pearl and vote on who makes it through to the Sweet 16.
Big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny.
Number 1 seed in this tournament. And where EJ's asking us, would you rather be a one-hit wonder or like a musician who has a big catalog of music but never any hits?
This page says that he has multiple hits. Now, it said Posse on Broadway, Put Him on the Glass, and the Grammy-nominated Just a Pimpin' in Me.
His publicist put that together.
But now he's hosting a radio show in Fresno, California.
We're on, I think, in Fresno.
I think we could get Sir Mix-a-Lot. He's on in Fresno.
You know, how about this? If he wins, maybe then we try to get him on. If he's our champ.
Yeah, I think we have to. And I don't know if we have to pay $15,000. I don't think we have that in the budget necessarily.
I'm taking out a bogus check.
We might be
You
able
don't
to,
mind. It's our Sir Mix-a-Lot budget.
yeah, we might have to go for Tommy Two-Tone or somebody who's even. Sir Mix-a-Lot's iconic. I can't believe that dude never had another number one song by the way. Some of these guys, I thought, how can you write a song as good as 99 Luft Balloons and not come up with a second song?
The crazy thing, too, about that, you mentioned it was a Grammy-nominated song. What was it called? Pimpin'?
Pimpin' in the House?
Okay.
The house.
No, Just a Pimpin' in Me.
Oh, yeah.
Grammy nominated.
Also, you want to know what else was Grammy nominated? Who Let the Dogs Out?
Yeah.
Of course.
It's also a number one song.
What's up with the Grammys? Who Let the
We've
Dogs
been
What did you
asking
think?
that for 15
Grammys was
years.
like the Rolling Stones critic list? No, Grammys is pop crap.
This goes back to my theory: committees suck.
You're right.
Yeah.
Also, the name of your 16th book.
That's right.
Now, Pete and I, after a Mets game, saw Third Eye Blind.
Oh.
And I have
Semi-Charm Kind of Life?
Well, I have a really strong memory of them playing that song to start and to finish the set.
Yeah.
I know that song. It's on my playlist. I got into a 90s
Oh,
Wonderwall.
how's it going to be?
Yeah, is that who it was?
No, Never Let You Go. It's Never Let You Go.
And Semi-Charm Kind of Life. I was right on both.
But I feel like they played the same song twice to start and close. It was like it was the song
Never
people
Let You
wanted
Go.
to hear.
It's got to be Never Let You Go.
Right.
No, but isn't there? Maybe I'm mixing up the band. Because Semi-Charm
Yeah,
Kind
by
of
the way,
Life is
it
not-
could be-
is
it could have been
Jumper a
Spin
song?
Doctors. It could have been
No. Is Jumper a song?
Sounds like, yes, that sounds right.
Yes, Jumper is a song.
That's the one they played twice.
Right. Well, a lot of that concert was all of us razzing on them for
Right.
playing a Mets game.
A Mets game. And us staying to watch them,
staying
too.
to watch.
Not a good choice.
I
You
was
want to talk
in
about staying at a game for a concert. I stayed at a Mets game, and it was Nas, so Nas is awesome. 102-degree heat.
Ooh.
Oof.
And the Mets were down 7-0 in the first inning.
I'm out of there in the first inning.
And
Forget
me and my friends sat there for 9 innings and
Wow.
melted.
Oh.
My husband and I waited after a Mets game to see Lauryn Hill, and it took her an hour and 45
she come back
minutes to
3
come
days
out.
later.
I was super pregnant too, and we were like, "This is kind of like, all right, last hurrah stuff we're gonna do before the baby comes." And I was so pregnant, and we were just sitting there waiting for her. And the concessions are closed at that point. You do
Right.
not want a pregnant woman at night in a baseball stadium with no food available. It was your funeral, almost, Lauryn Hill.
I saw a big concert last year at a game. DJ Jazzy Jeff played halftime of the Eagles game.
Well, he's a Philadelphia legend, right?
Yeah, but I got to tell you, not a single human being stayed in their seat for a DJ. First of all, he's a DJ. So he didn't sing, he didn't do anything.
And you're missing the best part of the group.
Yeah. I know you like this.
He can be on your podcast.
I know you like
of other
second
people.
guys, but I love DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Wants a podcast of only the second guy in the band. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I gotta tell you, there's not much to a DJ Jazzy Jeff concert. I mean, there's not a lot going on there.
I think that's crazy. I went to see Jay-Z and Beyonce, and the opener was DJ Khaled, who doesn't DJ or rap or sing. So
Well,
it was
he's
him
out-
just saying, play this song, and him just going, yeah. And that was it for the first 45 minutes. Or I need to find a famous friend. Fabulous, come out here and do your song. That's not even my song.
Why don't we ask him? He's in the break room right now doing a minor concert. DJ Khaled shows up everywhere. You talk about a guy who's cloned. I mean, how many all-star events can one human being do in a lifetime?
It's more than Steph Curry.
By the way, maybe the worst basketball player I've ever seen is DJ
What?
Khaled.
Who's looking at DJ Khaled?
What's your problem with DJ
He plays
Khaled?
a lot of basketballs for some reason. These clips keep going viral.
Where are we? What were we talking about? One-hit wonders and how much they would cost to book them?
Right.
All right. Bogusch has headlines.
And maybe this makes sense somewhere in the multiverse. USC men's basketball coach Andy Enfield is apparently close to leaving for the SMU job, which would mean no more coaching Bronny, assuming he doesn't leave for the NBA. Now, SMU, the Mustangs, they're rich. Dallas, a good recruiting area. They're moving to the ACC, but it's not USC or the Big Ten. Also surprising to me, at least, Enfield's had that job for 11 years. That's how long ago Dunk City was?
I know.
Is that probably a one-hit wonder?
Dunk City?
Dunk City.
One-hit wonder of
Well, it was
basketball teams, sports teams.
No, we should do that for a great debate.
Yeah.
Wait, Eddie
No,
Enfield's the
what was
one with the wife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I remembered him for.
I have no idea.
Dunking?
Not Dunk City. Would be Georgetown.
Honestly-
Said Georgetown in the first round.
No, we at
first?
Dan Patrick Show, we spent a lot of time
On Andy.
on Andy
Talking
Field's
about-
wife. Yes.
On his wife sounds different.
That was
Talking
the,
about his wife.
That was the story of that tournament. Yes.
Wait, what was it? They did the song with Dunk City, Rack City.
Rack City, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not Dunk City,
It's
but
not
yeah.
Dunk City. Sorry. Back to you, Bubs.
No idea if LeBron is sad to see Enfield go, but he will not be missing college basketball in general, no matter who's coaching.
It is hard watching a 40-minute college basketball game. It's hard. I get more anxiety and I sweat more watching college basketball, especially my son now, than I've ever done in my life.
Now, watching my son play baseball is the most stressful thing I go through. I thought that's what LBJ meant here, but he dislikes college basketball for the basketball.
Coach will throw the ball into a post to his big that has no business with the ball in the post.
And yes, those clips are from Pete's favorite podcast.
Oh my God!
LeBron
Even
and
that was
JJ.
pretentious.
Cracking up on a
Unbelievable.
Pierre Noir during that.
Yeah. Oh God! It's even 30 seconds of that makes me want to vomit.
Agree.
Because I drank too much wine.
Was he talking about USC's coach?
Well, he's talking about coaches. So, I mean, it could have been how I don't know if USC threw the ball to an inept post player, but he could have been talking about him.
So probably.
Yeah, right.
How about that? LeBron not want to watch and play regular season basketball. How about that?
Well, Pete, he did play last night, by the way, and he had 23 more points, 14
Begrudgingly.
more rebounds, and 12 more assists than you had.
All right.
And the Lakers won in Memphis, 136-124. They've won 5 in a row. They remain 9th out west, but just 2.5 games behind the Mavs for 6.
Is LeBron going to get a rest day now that he had that
week.
great game? Week.
Anthony Davis didn't play last night after playing 52 minutes.
yeah.
And
I knew that was
LeBron did say they have to prioritize their rest over seeding.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well,
yes,
smart.
more days
Sure,
off are
yeah.
coming.
But I totally agree. One thing, going back, it's way more stressful watching your kids perform than
Oh, my
actually
God,
performing.
yes.
I had to watch a play last night, and I was dying. It's terrible.
Your daughter was in it.
My daughter was in it. Maggie, trust me, when your son becomes an athlete, there's nothing worse than watching your kid strike out or something. Oh, painful.
Timmy is 3 years old, and he first played soccer this past summer. Just watching him kind of practice and play around with the soccer ball, I was stressed.
Yeah, and we don't have Bronny as kids. either.
awake. That's
Our
why you
kids
go
are not
to-
dunking on anybody.
Right,
Because
exactly.
you feel so bad. You can't do anything about it. It's like as a former bad amateur athlete, at least I could try to play.
Right.
You can't do anything to watch your kids suffer. So I guarantee LeBron is not joking about that. Watching Bronny must be torture for him. It's way more stressful because, I mean, LeBron himself can go out there and dunk on someone's head. He can't do anything for Bronny.
So how's he going to handle that stress when they're playing together on the court when LeBron forces the Lakers to draft Bronny?
I think he's going to feel better because at least he can pass the ball to Bronny. You know, he can do something about it.
So again, this is more about LeBron than it is about Bronny.
You know what I'll say as well? Now, and I agree with
Yes.
Perloff that I think he'll be better. He'll feel better because Bronny will in the court with him. I also think that LeBron will take his first suspension in the NBA, probably for his career, for something that happens on the court with Bronny.
Oh,
He
yeah.
has to stick up for him.
Someone's going to step
He's
to
going to
him.
actually throw an elbow or actually he's going to get suspended.
Yeah, this is going to end great. Bogusch, back to you.
The Suns won in Denver for the second time this month, 104-97. The Warriors won in Orlando, 101-93, despite Draymond getting tossed in less than 4 minutes. The Rocket win streak is 10 after a 132-126 OT win in OKC. And the Sixers are bad enough on their own. They don't need the refs' help.
Leonard and Oubre set the jump. The ball is up. Leonard wins it. Batum taps it to Hield at half court with 2. Right wing Oubre. He drives. He didn't get off in time. That's going to do it. The Clippers survive in Philadelphia.
What you don't hear on Clippers radio is Paul George colliding on that final play with Kelly Oubre.
There was absolute contact, but they were calling those calls for those guys. And, you know, they were getting and ones, and they were changing the game in that aspect. And then we get down to our side, and it's like they didn't even see any contact.
Oubre and head coach Nick Nurse argued with the officials on the court post-game. Those officials then left the court, turned on their TVs, and admitted that they should have called a foul, giving Oubre 2 free throws with a chance to win the game. Instead, the Sixers lose harumph 108-107.
Great clip afterwards. Kelly Oubre who is a character, says, "You're a bleep, you're a bleep, you're a bleep." It just systematically calls out everyone. And Nick Nurse has to be held back from punching the guy. I was like, let him go. Let him hit the ref. The Sixers need something. Mix it up. By the way, even I'm going to admit, it was probably a foul that you were referencing. Yes. It wasn't so egregious. He didn't, it was a very close call that they swallowed the whistle on. The Sixers suck.
Wait, aren't you burying the big Sixers news from yesterday?
What's that?
That Joel Embiid's coming back.
Maybe during the regular season.
Yeah, he's going to come back. They said, what, for a handful of games. Isn't that what Woj said? This is like what you've been waiting for. Joel Embiid comes back right in time for the playoffs.
This, 3 playoff games? This team is terrible.
What if he plays well?
Well,
What if
actually,
he
it won't
just
be the
needed a
playoff.
rest?
It'll be the play-in.
Yeah, play-in, whatever.
There's no chance.
Wait, what are the standings right now? Where are the Sixers?
I think they're still 6, right?
Yeah, no, I think they're lower than that. I think they're 8th.
Stand by 8th.
Oh, wow, my bad.
Yeah, but they have a pretty good lead, I see, on the 8. So they'll be in the play-in. I honestly don't even think they get out of the play-in.
So you think they lose the first game to the Heat or Pacers and then lose to the Bulls or Hawks?
Yes, I think the Sixers are terrible.
What if Embiid is playing?
It's going to be hard for the Hawks to figure that one out.
That would be remarkable.
The
if
Hawks
they
and
somehow-
Bulls, they should name that first play-in game after them. The Hawks and the Bulls annual play-in game.
But again, that's the reason why there shouldn't be a play-in. Like, those teams don't need to have that game, but then the West is ridiculous.
There needs to be, I think there should be a qualifying. Like, if you're 8th and you're, in this case, I think the perfect number, if you're 4 games up on the 9th seed, you're in. Like,
Oh, we don't do the play-in
set a number.
if it's a certain number?
Yeah, set a number.
Like a mercy rule?
Yeah, set a number where it's like, you know what? This team is clearly not, they haven't done it in the regular season. They don't deserve the shot to play their way in.
Well, if you're going to set a rule, why not mix up the conferences? Now it's time to put the 11 contenders in the West. Put Kevin Durant in the East for us, just for entertainment purposes. I mean, they have no chance. They're going to be in the play-in tournament, too. This is a weird debate. By the way, Maggie, you disagree with me? You think the Sixers and Embiid is going to be like Willis Reed, come back and make any difference?
No. I just telling you that you guys buried the big Sixers news from yesterday. Who cares that Kelly Oubre, was he fouled, was he not fouled? I mean, Joel Embiid's coming back.
That clip, though, was hilarious.
Well, Oubre, I know.
Yeah,
afterwards,
him going
he
after
said,
those refs.
he goes, "I feel bad because like I'm a man of God. I don't like to, do that because I think I should act classy."
What he means by that is I'm a man of losing $15,000 in my next fine.
Bogusch, thank you so much. Coming up, we have Perloff's favorite NFL draft rumor of the day. We get to that next. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Got NCAA tournament games tonight, but we have to get to Perloff's favorite NFL draft rumor of the day.
So LSU, a lot of attention on quarterback Jayden Daniels. Did anybody see the video of wide receiver Malik Nabers running a 40?
Oh, did we?
It is like a lightning bolt on a grass field. 4.35 was the official time, and he's being compared to a sort of a different kind of wide receiver. Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State is the next Calvin Johnson. But Malik Nabers looks like the spitting image to me of Jamar Chase. This guy is going to be a superstar, so there's all this talk that he'll be the first receiver coming off the board, which is funny because Marvin Harrison Jr. has been that guy forever. I kind of get it now. I heard a Tyreek Hill comparison the other day. I'm starting to sway, Maggie. I'm a big Marvin Harrison fan. I'm starting to sway. If you tell me this guy's going to be Tyreek Hill, but a little bigger than Tyreek Hill, then I'll take that. I'll put Tyreek Hill, too, on my team.
You realize what's happening, though. This is all happening because Marvin Harrison Jr. is not doing anything, right? He's not running the 40. He's not doing any of the combine stuff, and he's not doing any of the pro day stuff. So this is only because Malik Nabers is doing all this stuff. If Harrison was still participating, don't you think he still won?
I don't know. I don't think teams really care about the pro day. And they obviously had a huge grade on Malik Nabers. There were reports that teams, a lot of NFL draft writers were saying that teams like Nabers more than Chase, that it's split right down. I'm not Chase, right, more than Harrison.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of style. So I'll give you a question, GM Maggie Gray.
Yep.
I'll give you Calvin Johnson, big guy who is a possession receiver but can also go deep, Marvin Harrison Jr., or I will give you Tyreek Hill.
I want both.
All time, like who's really the more effective receiver? It's a tougher question than you might think. It's pretty close.
Yeah, that is a really great question. Maybe that should be a poll while I buy time here.
Yeah,
Calvin
that's a
Johnson
great
or
poll.
Tyreek Hill? Who would you rather have?
At their peak, the peak of their powers. Because maybe that's what you have in this year's draft.
Here's what I want. Oh, man. I was just about to say I want a Calvin Johnson because if I have a young receiver, it's like idiot proof. Throw the ball up. He's going to get it. But at the same time, Tyreek Hill is also great for young receivers because you just throw him the ball 10 yards and he's going to take it to the house.
Yeah, and also I think there is a trend towards smaller receivers. You still have Devontae Adams and some giants floating around, but you get Garrett Wilson and Tyreek Hill and Devontae Smith in Philly. You can be 5'11", 6 feet tall and weigh 175 pounds and be really effective in today's NFL.
Okay, you hit me with the question. I wasn't ready for it, but that's okay. I love it, and I have an answer for you.
Yeah.
I want Calvin Johnson. I want the big receiver because I also want a big receiver for the red zone. And that's a better target in the red zone than a smaller receiver. When things get real bunched up and the defense starts to get to an advantage, ironically, because you're close to the end zones, sidelines rather, and there's not a lot of room and space, I'd rather have Calvin Johnson. There you go. That's my answer.
It's a good
Final answer.
It's a good answer. I don't know if that applies, though, anymore in the way the game is today. I love Calvin Johnson. Is probably my most fun player to watch. Could beat a double handle seeing him. I mean, is Tyreek Hill gets a ton of touchdowns as well. I know he gets them differently.
I was going to say it's different. So here's the question.
Yeah.
We were talking before about how many quarterbacks are going to go in the first round, and you and EJ have a big bet on how many QBs, more or less than 4.5. Marvin Harrison, Malik Nabers. Do you still think there's a shot Nabers goes over Harrison?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
And where do you think this is? Because if we're thinking now it's going to go quarterback 1 Chicago, 2 Washington. We still think 3 New England, and then whoever trades with the Arizona Cardinals, who have a blinking for sale sign outside of their building.
I would think
that
that'd be
pick.
If there is a trade, that would be quarterback. So first time ever 1, 2, 3, 4.
So it's gonna be Chargers.
So you have the Chargers.
The Chargers and the Giants could both use receivers.
Yeah, but the Chargers could trade down because they have a lot of holes to fill. And Jim Harbaugh has already admitted that there is a sense of rebuilding. Harbaugh had a quote the other day at the owners' meeting. He said, rebuilding teams need offensive line. Teams that are there need skilled guys. So I think maybe they trade out. Listen, I think there's a chance that it'd be Nabers. I would think the Chargers would go with Marvin Harrison Jr. Obviously, that'd be really exciting. I think there's no guarantee here. I think it's going to be a real close call. The Giants...
They trending quarterback, but that could be...
I don't know. Giants, smaller LSU receiver, gives me some Odell vibes. I think there's going to be interest in Nabers there. Oh, you're right. I assumed that the quarterback would not be there for the Giants. It's a possibility. Hey, they could use... When's the last time they're, besides Odell, it's not a team that ever has a big-time receiver. I think it's similar to the quarterbacks. There is a real 1A and a 1B here, and both guys are going to be instant stars. And then you got Rome Odunze as a third. It's a really good list.
Are all those wide receivers going top 10?
Oh, heck yeah. Nabers, Harrison are going 5'6" or 6'7", back to back. It's going to happen. That 40 yesterday was comical. I mean, how does anyone run that? Imagine covering this guy, Maggie. It's incredible to me. And LSU had such a rich history of successful wide receivers. Obviously, Chase and Jefferson most recently. I'm into this. I'm into this guy. I love him.
This is the Andrew Perloff NFL draft rumor of the day. Quickly, because we do have NCAA tournament games tonight. Have we fully decided what we're doing about King for a day? Whoever gets the most games correctly, picked the most games correctly today, are we going to do the weekend and you get King for a day Monday? Or are we doing King for a day tomorrow? We got to make a decision right now on the air.
I think weekend and do it for Monday.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Are we all good on that? So we'll do Raising Cane's tomorw, and then we'll do King for a day on Monday.
That's fine.
So whoever's leading the bracket, the Maggie and Perloff bracket on Monday, damn, this is not going to be me.
You already got to be King for a day.
I know, but I'm actually in 6th place overall now. But you know that feeling when you know that you are about to fall back really badly in your bracket? Is there anything worse?
Sly is about to come.
I got to tell you that Auburn losing in the first round ruined my whole weekend. I was moody around the house. I don't know why. I get real.
You haven't watched how many minutes of Auburn basketball did you watch?
I saw
4
saw
games,
a lot.
maybe?
No, I watched a lot of them. That's why I was into them. They gave my guy Dalton Connect a hard time.
Oh, right.
Bruce Pearl had a lot of angry, intense quotes on the sideline. I thought this was the year. The truth is, I need San Diego State to win, so UConn does not advance because that's where most people have. And you got North Carolina.
I do.
If North Carolina goes on a run, then I think you might win. At least you'll be top 1, 2, or 3. So go Alabama.
Man, If I win King for a day, you guys are all in big trouble.
Can't wait.
You are going to eat things that you never thought possible.
Oh, I'm up for that.
Bizarre things like things that dwell at the bottom of the ocean.
That's not happening. No chance.
I'll do it. I like eating challenges. I'm in.
I'm not going to let you do it. Because you love bizarre food. Perloff's like, ostrich? I'll
things
eat
at
it.
the bottom of the ocean. That's where the most delicious things live.
Perloff's
Lobsters.
like, I'll eat a whole alligator. I don't care. Thank you, EJ Stewart, Pete Pilati, Andrew Kaplan, Andrew Bogusch, Weedos, Coffee Drinkers. Enjoy more college hoops tonight. See you tomorrow.